When I think about the way we used to be, when I think about the things we took from me, I know that I am so much better. When I look at what I've done, now that we're apart, when I look at what I've won, I've come so far. I know I'm so much better off, and baby, you don't belong. I could feel it in my bones. There was something going on, that shade of doubt hanging around that old. 'Cause darling, there is nothing right when all you seem to do is lie. Those days are gone. I'm walking tall while you're alone. When I think about the way we used to be, when I think about the things you took from me, I know that I am so much better. When I look at what I've done, now that we're apart, when I look at what I've won, I've come so far. I know I'm so much better off, and baby, you don't belong. Your love was cold, heart made of stone, but I'm just fine. I'm gonna shine. I'm alright, alright, alright. I'm celebrating my liberation. I'm moving strong, I'm moving on. I'm alright, alright, alright. Might be shaken but not stirred. Just a lesson that I've learned. And so it goes. Tables turn in your own. When I think about the way, when I think about the way we used to be, when I think about the things you took from me, I know that I am so much better. When I look at what I've done, now that we're apart, when I look at what I've won, I've come so far. I know I'm so much better off, and baby, you don't belong. When I think about the way we used to be, when I think about the things you took from me, I know that I am so much better. When I look at what I've done, now that we're apart, when I look at what I've won, I've come so far. I know I'm so much better off, and baby, you don't belong.
Well, well, well. Look who we have here. This is his setup. All right. Seems kind of shitty. Oh my, quite a few of you are interested in Some real feedback for once. That's nice. All right, we're going to get started in a second, you fucks. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of Blocksallies. He hasn't told you about them? Figures. Has he mentioned Singe? Doesn't matter. Hi. Welcome to your first ever real homebrew review. My name is Smolder CinderBlocksally. And for the first time in your small, shallow, genuinely insignificant lives, you are going to have the opportunity to learn something today. Honestly, I doubt many of you will. Because as far as I know, y'all are bad at picking up on opportunities. But there might be one or two of you out there that's going to gain some knowledge today. We're doing one of Cinder's homebrew reviews. But it's my style. And I don't like to mollycoddle or sugarcoat. I don't have time. And quite frankly, you don't either. And I can't say much more than that. Suffice to say, your incompetence is a bigger deal than you might think it is. And my God, are you incompetent. Some of you gave some subs. That is, let's see. Queen Wanderer just wasted some money. Psychological Villain just wasted some money. Artist just wasted some money. And so did Bizalule. Congratulations. Cinder normally says hi at the beginning of these, right? Should I do that? Hi. Alright, good. Done. You're here. So here's the deal, insects. If you want me to help you in a way that Cinder never will be able to, if you want real advice for the first time, this is what you're going to do. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link in the video description. And if you're not a little bitch, you're going to submit your homebrew to it. And on Twitch, same deal, except instead of in the video description, you do the command wheel. And if you don't know how to do the command wheel and you're on Twitch, you're too incompetent, and I genuinely don't want to look at your homebrew, so that's fine. Are we good? Everybody here? Have you accepted your fate? And are you ready for my blessing? I am not out for blood. Genuinely, all I'm trying to do is find a single ounce of quality in the sea of shit that you give Cinder all the time. And I see him trying to help you, and he's wasting his time. I'm gonna do it better. I would love to see something of quality tonight. But I would also love to be able to shoot lasers out of my nose. And everybody knows that that's impossible. So prove me wrong. Get me shooting lasers out of my nose. Also, before we start, if you want to ask a question, I'm probably better at answers than he is. I made the flesh vessel? I did not make this thing. How should you mess with your players? You should have them fight a monster that doesn't have hit points, and you tell them that it doesn't have hit points. But treat it like a normal combat encounter. And then have it kill all of them. And have them make better characters for a better campaign once you figure out how to be a good dungeon master. How can you repair your self-esteem? I'm not a miracle worker. How many licks does it take you to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop? 3. What else we got? What do you like more, Dungeons or Dragons? Both of them are genuinely stupid. What do you like more? Poop or poop? I don't know. Who cares? You just bite? Fair. What skill should be added to D&T? Maybe creativity? Maybe originality? How do we mentally survive this stream? I genuinely hope most of you don't. If this stream ends with quite a few of you deciding never to write homebrew again and making more space for the real writers out there, that's a win in my book. Just know that you need to be prepared. What's my favorite SCP? I don't know. I hang out with 682 and the Scarlet King a lot. What should you give your player who wants a magic scythe? You should give your player who wants a magic scythe a magic mace. And then you should tell them that Death Domain clerics can't use scythes. They have to use maces. And you should force them to turn their character into your idea. I made a paladin that has reverse lay on hands. How can my DM nerf it? They can tell you can't use it anymore because it's stupid. They could also nerf it by every time you deal damage, you take twice the damage. So you just decide not to use it because it's stupid. I could give advice all day. Honestly, I don't want to look at your homebrew that much. I know Cinder normally gives people like 30 minutes to submit stuff. And it's only been like 15. So in theory, we could do this for another 15, but we'll see how interesting your questions are. Because if your questions are stupid, I'm not going to answer them. I don't care that much. When am I going to stop stalling and review homebrew? I was under the impression that you guys are very bad at doing things in a timely manner. Is that not true? Which class do I hate the least? Detention! There's nothing better than seeing the soul sucked out of innocence. Why? Why do you ask? I've never had pineapple or pizza. I'm very new to this realm. I don't know which one I prefer. I don't wear sunglasses. I don't own any. What are they? All of the members of the Blocksally family are fine, but Cinder's kind of the outcast. He doesn't really get it. You ever been in a situation where, like, you're in a room of people and they're all just, like, vibing and it's awesome, and then there's that one guy that keeps making the awkward joke that kind of just dead silences the room? Cinder at every family gathering. How would you make a robotic PC with less than 10 pounds? I don't care. That's amazing. Oh, God. What stupid questions. Who's the worst person you know? I don't know any people, but you all are terrible. There's like 4 monitors in my shades? I don't know what that means. What are shades? Am I the coolest person in the family? I don't know. What does cool mean here? Temperature? All right. Let's change it up a little bit. And then let's look at some fucking homebrew. Let's see. All right, let's see what we're looking at tonight. Let's get this fucking wheel open. Treach. Do you know what treach means? If you did, I wouldn't call myself that. All right. Where's the button? Oh my God, Cinder's setup is so fucked. There we go. Boom! There's your fucking wheel. Can I be bribed? Sure. Will Cinder make an appearance? No, not tonight. There's one person in chat that kind of understands what's going on here, and everyone else seems to be a little bit slow, but that's okay. You'll pick it up. I should change the whole wheel to black. That requires a little bit of work, which I don't think any of this show merits, so no. All right, let's give her a spin. I know Cinder makes noises during this part. It's just stupid. So no, I'm not doing that. All right, who's first to my plate? Carson. When I think of the name Carson, I think of the kind of guy that roofies someone at parties. This is a Paladin subclass inspired by Dimension 20's Kirsten Applebee's. Wow, you know what's the best thing in the world? You know what I fucking love? When you have the opportunity to make something that could be anything in the whole universe and you base it off of one of the most cliche and popular D&D shows. Great start. Great start before we even start. Oath of Doubt. Paladins that follow the Oath of Doubt believe that certainty is restrictive and doubting is freeing. They often hold more nuanced beliefs as a result. How much information is in this sentence? 0. Get it out of here. It's a waste of space. Go fuck yourself. Why are you wasting my time when you're saying a sentence that says their feelings make them think differently? Notably, who is this to? Most Paladins of Doubt do not blindly apply doubt to all situations, understanding that well-nuanced can be weaponized. That nuance can be weaponized. So what is this the oath of? Is it the Oath of Doubt or is it the Oath of Nuance? Holy shit. We haven't even started, and you already spent half of your flavor text talking about how the Oath of Doubt Paladin doesn't actually doubt all the time. They also just kind of do it a little bit. What are we doing here? I don't go to the dairy aisle because I want to mix skim milk with water. I go to the dairy aisle because I want to drink cream from the carton and smash all the eggs. Give me the fucking cream. Let's look at these tenants. Benefit of the doubt. Oh boy, we're being clever with our wordplay by using very common phrases. Expect the best from all creatures until you are completely unable to. You know what's shocking here? You know what is genuinely shocking here? I just had to dig through the mud of this flavor text and this cliche title. Why are you hiding a good tenant under such fucking garbage? If you put a gun to my head and said, is this tenant going to be good or not, I would have been blasted to the next space station. I would not have in a million years have guessed that this was well written. Genuinely surprising. Conflicting perspectives. Objective truth does not exist. Reality is subjective to the whims of those who experience it. Well, holy shit. God damn it. You are setting the bar high for yourself here, Carson. That's 2 good tenants in a row. What the fuck are we doing? Am I in Goo Goo Gaga land? Have you been holding out because you knew that Cinder would go easy on your bullshit, so you waited to write something halfway decent for me? Let's see how this keeps going. Hedonism. Do exactly what makes you feel how you'd like to. Ah, there we go. There we go. I was waiting for the other foot to drop. Here it is. Do exactly what makes you feel how you'd like to. What a professionally written sentence that is. Oh, and it's followed by a semicolon. Do you know what a semicolon says? A semicolon says one of 2 things. It says either A, I don't know how to use a semicolon, and I'm kind of a dingus, or it says B, I'm showing off that I know how to use a semicolon, and I'm kind of a dingus. Fuck out of here. You just gave me all the ingredients for a chocolate chip cookie. Look at that. We got all the flour, we got the eggs, here we got some milk, some sugar. Why are you mixing it with wood chips? Give us some chocolate chip cookies at the end. Get your sentence structure straight. Let's see what spells this is. So what does this thing even feel like? That's what we're going to figure out next, hopefully. Chaos Bolt, Silvery Barbs. Why? Darkness, Mirror Image. Why? Fly. Okay, Fly, genuinely why? Okay, I get Mirror Image. Ooh, where am I? I get Silver. Okay, they're all... Okay, so what the goal here is, I don't know. That's the goal. Makes sense, I guess, for doubt. Get Fly out of here, doesn't make any fucking sense. Get Greater Invisibility out of here, doesn't make any fucking sense. Darkness is a stretch. Chaos Bolt is a stretch. Figure your shit out. Okay, let's get into the meat of this potato. Somebody asked if chat has the permission to be mean. Let me ask you this. When a child finds an anthill, and as any good child should, grabs a magnifying glass and starts shooting hot solar beams and frying those ants, should those ants be mean to each other in response to that? Let's look at these channel divinities. When you take this oath at 3rd level, you gain the following 2 channel divinity options. Crippling Indecision and Emissary of Doubt. I didn't link it to you? Holy shit, is that something I'm supposed to do? Oh my god. You guys need so much. Are you telling me you can... Oh my god. Fine. Whole whiny, needy little bitches. Crippling indecision. I'm having crippling indecision about whether or not this was a good idea. As an action, you present your holy symbol and speak a prayer in an esoteric language using your channel divinity. Choose one creature within 60 feet of you that you can see. That creature must make a wisdom saving throw unless it is immune to being charmed. What does it do then? On a failed save, the creature takes 2d6 psychic damage and is paralyzed for 1 minute. On a successful save, the creature takes half damage. Why is that in a bullet point? Also, why is any of this in bullet points? This does one thing. Just write this like normal. What are you doing? Okay, for anybody that has nails going into their brain that's giving them brain damage and doesn't understand, you put bullet points when you have a feature that does a series of things. The irony here is that this feature does do a series of things. But notice where the bullet points are. They're not breaking up the series of things. Look, here's 2 things in 1 bullet point. You're using a bullet point to tell us the outcome on the pot. Just put that up here. Holy shit. How do we feel about paralyzed for 1 minute? Auto crit? Nah. Also, I acknowledge that this is a good status effect. This damage sucks. It's nowhere near where it needs to be. Calm down with this effect. Paralysis is not indecision. Paralysis is paralysis. And I understand that in your minuscule brain, you think, well, choice paralysis and game mechanic paralysis, but game mechanic paralysis is not intended to be built with wordplay in mind. It does very specific things. Think about the things that it's doing, not just the word it's using. Have the damage scale. Have the damage scale. How do you make damage scale? Well, there's about a jillion ways. Here's 2. 1, it could scale like a cantrip, where at certain levels, the dice goes up. 2, it could scale with your paladin level. This thing does 2d6 plus half your paladin level psychic damage. Boom, you're done. Let's look at Emissary of Doubt. If you don't think 1 auto crit seems too strong, you're not fighting hard enough battles, friend. Maybe it's not. I disagree with this. Emissary of Doubt. You augment your presence in an aura that sows doubt. As a bonus action, you grant yourself +5 bonus to charisma deception checks for the next 10 minutes. I'll tell you my first thought. My first thought is there's about 30,000 other abilities that do exactly this, and they do it in a very different way. The way that they do it is you get +10 to one thing. Is getting +1 to 10 thing is getting +10 to one thing balanced against getting +5 to potentially multiple things in 10 minutes? I think it depends on if your dungeon master knows what the fuck they're doing or not. You don't understand. I don't care about this game. I care about the implications that this game holds in ways that you genuinely cannot fathom. The fact that I have to degrade myself to this level, to inhabit this flesh vessel, to communicate with you on the fucking long shot that you might learn how to take a cool idea and then actually finish it and polish it. It sickens me. Genuinely. That being said, I do want you to succeed. Because if you don't, we're hopeless. So far, Carson, as fucked as some of your piece is, I think you are accomplishing the goal of creating a unique feeling paladin so far. I really hope you don't let me down. Aura of Freedom. At 7th level, you emanate an aura that fills you and your companions with the ability to move freely. If you aren't incapacitated, and the movement of any Let me start that again, because this is a long sentence and I feel it coming. If you aren't incapacitated, the movement of any ally who starts their turn within 10 feet of you is unaffected by difficult terrain. There's such an easier way of writing that. You're wasting words. Do you have any idea how bad that is? How about this? How about this? Creatures of your choice that start their turn within 10 feet of you are not affected by difficult terrain until the end of their turn. Boom! Done! So fucking easy. Literally, so easy. Additionally, they can also use a bonus action to spend half their movement to automatically escape from non-magical restraints, such as manacles or a creature that hasn't grappled. Wow, there's more? Finally, being underwater imposes no penalties on their movements or attacks. What are you doing? Why are you ruining this? Yeah, you fucked the sentence, but this is a fine feature. And this second part sucks, but we can fix it and we can make it awesome. And then you have to just squeeze more in. You're overfilling the stew. It's gonna explode and your whole kitchen's gonna look like it's full of shit. Drop this bullshit and you change this and you simplify. You simplify for those little insect brains. What is this doing? This is letting creatures get out of being restrained. Yes? Yes? We don't need all this. All we need is enough to give that. Do you want the aura to make creatures better at escaping from being grappled? How about this? Additionally, while they remain within the aura, they have advantage on checks to break free from grapples and restraints. Done. Easy. Simple. What are you doing with this fucking bonus action, half movement? Stop it. Don't lose sight of the forest for the trees, man, or the trees are gonna open up and you're gonna see how many teeth are in that fucking forest. Let's keep going. At 15th level, when you or a creature you can see is targeted with an... I hate this fucking mouth. At 15th level, when you or a creature you can see is targeted with an attack from a creature that you can see. Fuck that. Fuck that opening. Oh my god. Let me say that again, and I want you to listen to it. I understand that it makes sense, but I want you to genuinely listen to it, and I want you to think about how it feels when I say it, because you're forgetting. Okay, Cinder likes to explain things in terms of grammar and punctuation because he's trying to use things that you guys can connect with and that you, in theory, should know. I don't care about that because that's not actually what matters. And I'm not going to simplify things down for you. Think about it like this. Every single word you use is part of a precious resource. Assume that is a finite resource. You are genuinely going to be better off in more ways than one if you make that assumption. So every single word you use needs to be doing something good. That goodness can be expressing the mechanic, sure. But the other thing is it has to make it feel good. If this shit doesn't feel good, it's nothing. Let me read that again. When you or a creature you can see is targeted with an attack from a creature that you can see, doesn't feel good. You can use your reaction to subtract 1d4 from the attacking creature's attack roll. You're doing it more. You're doing it more. You were so good at the beginning. What happened? Provided both creatures are within 60 feet of you. This isn't even that powerful of a mechanic. Why are you making it so complicated? What are you doing here? How about this? 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 Just this. At 15th level, when a creature that you can see, when a creature within 60 feet of you that you can see makes an attack roll, you can use your reaction to subtract 1d4 from the attack roll. It's like half the words. That's so much. That's so much power you're not wasting. That's so much power you're not wasting. Let's look at Emissary of Doubt. At 20th level, by the way, I just want to be I'm going to be very honest here. This is a good piece of homebrew compared to what Cinder normally looks at. I'm being kind right now. At 20th level, you gain the ability to harness the power of inflicted indecision and the freedom that comes from lack of conviction. As an action, you become an avatar of doubt, which gives you the following benefits for 1 minute. All attacks against you are made at disadvantage. You have resistance to all damage dealt by other creatures, attacks, and spells. Buddy, don't give us cake, and we don't need cake and pie. Pick one. You glutton. You gain a fly speed of 60 feet, and the range of your aura increases to 40 feet. Okay, genuine thoughts. This is fine. I think this is fine if you pick spells or attacks, but not both. Or just say attacks. That would include spell attacks. Dingus. Fly speed, legit boring. Legit boring. Straight up. Why not freedom of movement? So much more fitting for this. You have a lot of work to do to make this thing go from usable to beautiful. And if you don't want to spend the time to make this beautiful, why did you even start it? That being said, I am nothing if not honest. 90% of the mechanics here work. But that's genuinely not enough. If all you care about is making it work as a skeleton, you're never going to bring it to life. So, make sure you're not wasting your time. Clean it up. Polish it up. On a scale from 1 to 10, how prepared would you say this homebrewer is for what's coming? I don't know. I have no idea. Oh, do you mean... What? No, you're talking about larger things. Oh, 2? Maybe 3? No, this homebrewer? I don't know. I can't judge an individual piece like that. You guys are working together. It's like Helldivers. Does Cinder normally Cinder normally does an applause, right? What should we do? I have an idea. All right, everybody. Let's all lament for Carson here. That sort of just sounds like cheering. Why do your screams sound the same as your cheers? Do I need crying or something? What's wrong with you guys? That's so fucked up. That was a good noise. Oh, that's a good one too. Maybe we'll just do some human screams next time. Dick Hardley. Perfect name. Well, we got new people. Look at all of you. All of you so desperate to grow. It is genuinely pathetic. booing would be good, but I like pain more than I like shame. So I think the sound of you in pain feels better to me here. We could do babies crying, because I do know that has a triggering response for some of you. But that feels a little bit like too much energy, honestly. Alright, we're spinning your stupid wheel again. Fuck you, Pixie. Nah, I'm just kidding. You chill. Old 80s horror movie screaming. Yazikon. Weeb name. Boxer Monk punches things. The Way of the Tamed Fist. I posted it in the chat because I know you guys are fucking needy. I'm tired of this fucking lyric music. No lyrics. Only I'm the one that's talking. How does Cinder put up with you? Oh, he doesn't even know. They don't even know you're real. That's so funny. He is kind of a cruel guy, huh? He's keeping that secret? That's cute. All right. Let's take a look at this stupid thing. Way of the Tamed Fist. Born and bred street brawlers. The embodiment of raw power and potential. Anything missing from that sentence, anybody? Can anybody guess? Can anybody guess what's missing from that sentence? I'll tell you what it feels like it's missing. Flow. Do you know why? Because you're just listing shit. Should flavor text just be a list? Maybe lists are really good for pragmatic things when you don't need to feel stuff because you just go, bop, 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 bop. I'm shopping. I don't need to go on the journey of my orange juice. How dare you take the journey away from us? Write full sentences. It makes us feel like we're going somewhere. That's what monks of the Way of the Tamed Fist... What? You just took the idea from the sentence and the sentence of the sentence and split them up. Behold, this is what you said. These are details. Those details that I just listed are about this monk. Why not just say, these monks have these details? What are we doing here, Yaz? Through relentless training and discipline, they have refined their natural talent and have turned their fists into precise and lethal weapons. Here's the thing. And I mean this with no love and a deep amount of animosity. What is this sentence describing? Is this the sentence describing the Way of the Tamed Fist monk? Or is this sentence just describing monks? We don't need to know about monks in your flavor text. This is like half your flavor text. You basically, okay, this is your flavor text. This is your flavor text. This is what you wrote. This is what you wrote. Here are details about the vibe of this subclass. Those were just the details that I said about the vibe of this subclass. Also, this subclass is a monk. Look at all this energy. Some of these are really long words, too. Relentless. Discipline. You could be doing so much more with them. Genuine waste. Insightful endurance. All right, we're diving in. We have to dive in. You know what I absolutely love? Do you know what one of my favorite things in the world is? It's what it makes me so happy. I love it. It just brings me such joy. When you get a subclass feature and there's no indication of what level you get it at. That's the best. It really makes a piece look like it's polished, you know? Insightful endurance. Speaking of which, insightful endurance. Through relentless training. of both body and mind, you have honed the ability to read your opponent's intentions. You're missing a comma, apostrophe of ownership here. And you will harness your mental fortitude to overcome physical challenges. That's a lot of flavor text. It doesn't feel like it means a lot of stuff. You gain proficiency and insight. Wow. In addition, whenever you make a saving throw to resist exhaustion, you gain a bonus equal to the roll of your wisdom modifier. Okay. I want to point something out here. Because you're making me so mad. How good is adding a bonus to your wisdom modifier to a saving throw to resist exhaustion? Genuinely. How good is that? I don't come from any nether circles. I'm not a Minecraft character. Here's the thing. How often are you going to make this saving throw to resist exhaustion? Genuinely. 3 times the whole campaign? Maybe? What kind of saving throw is it going to be literally every time? Is it going to be a Constitution saving throw? It is, unless you're a dingus. Open up your... I'm going to try to explain something to you, and I don't think you're going to understand it, and I acknowledge that, but if I don't try, what am I doing wasting my time here? Make this better, and then make it worse. Make this resistance, give this guy advantage on Constitution saving throws, but do not make it on all the time. That way, it will be used more, but it will not be broken. Does that make sense? If it doesn't, you're genuinely hopeless. Because this is nothing. This is a whole nothing feature. Perfect jab. Starting when you choose this tradition at 3rd level, you can throw your enemies off balance with your precise strikes. When you use Flurry of Blows, you can throw a flurry of 3 jabs. These jabs deal damage equal to 1 plus your dexterity modifier. A creature hit with a jab must succeed on a dexterity saving throw or have disadvantage on attack rolls until the start of your next turn. You can only affect 1 creature per turn with this technique. Feels convoluted. It feels like... I'll tell you what. Getting an extra attack works really well. It works really, really well. On anything other than a fucking monk. It works well on anything other than a fucking monk. All monks do is get extra attacks on extra attacks. Dude, don't put a hat on a hat. What are we doing? Do we really need 3 attacks on Flurry of Blows? Is that the way to make this sound exciting? Wow, you are so good with your fists. You can attack more, but do a shit ton less damage, and that damage scales really poorly. I love hats, but I don't like hats on hats. The other thing that I'm going to point out here. Now, bear with me, because this might be hard for you to understand. What the fuck does this have to do with this? Have to do with this? They don't feel tied together at fucking all. The flavor is a stretch at best here, friendo. Yeah, but Treach, those extra attacks on extra attacks are a capstone feature that scale with your normal monk dice. These don't do dice damage. This will genuinely suck. at higher levels. And you only get that capstone Drunken Master feature at 17th level, where really the only thing you need at that level is a crazy showstopper move or a shit ton more damage. It's accomplishing its goal there. It can't crit. It can stunning strike, but I don't think that's a good thing either. We're moving on. Let's look at 6. Counter. At 6th level, you've mastered the art of the counter. While under the effects of the dodge action, as a reaction, I love that transition. When a creature misses you with a melee attack, you can make an unarmed melee attack against that creature. You have advantage on the attack roll and deal an additional 1d4 bludgeoning damage on a hit. There's a pretty big problem here. Does anybody spot it? First person to spot it, there's a glimmer of hope for you. A glimmer of hope. I'll give you a clue. It's something missing. We don't need it at 3rd level, but we need it by 6th. Here's another clue. This is a monk. Thank you. Thank you. Somebody said it. Nothing here has anything to do with key points. This barely has to do with key points with tying to Flurry of Blows, but I genuinely think it's so similar to regular Flurry of Blows, it's genuinely worth ignoring. This feature, well, I suppose it does tie to Flurry of Blows because it's tied to dodge. I don't know, man. I don't think this fits. I kind of feel like every single thing here belongs to a different subclass, and each of those subclasses could just be called slightly different iteration of vague monk. Down, but not out. Beginning at 11th level, your body refuses... I was wrong about the key point use. I fucking acknowledge it. Down, but not out. Beginning at 11th level, your body refuses to stay down when knocked unconscious. You have advantage on death saving throws. On a roll of 18 or higher on death saves, you instantly regain 10 hit points. You must finish a short or long rest before you use this feature again. This is so similar to the only good feature of the Undying Monk. Whatever it's fucking called. I think it would potentially be solid if it wasn't basically just the same thing another monk gets. Untamed, 17th level. I also want to point something else out. What monk is this for? Doesn't feel like it's for this one. Doesn't feel like it's for this one. Doesn't feel like it's for this one. Maybe the con saving throw ties in. Maybe that. At 17th level, you have refined your skills to the fullest and have learned to combine them with your natural talent. What natural talent? As a bonus action, you can spend 5 key points to awaken your untamed potential for 10 minutes. Wow, a monk with a avatar state at 17th level. Who would have guessed? It ends early if you're incapacitated or you die. You deal a boring amount of extra damage and you get Barbarian Rage. This is definitely a combination of monk subclass features. That's what this is. It is definitely a combination of monk subclass features. I can say that with the certainty of the sun. I would love if it felt like a specific monk. I know that's a crazy idea. But that would be pretty good, I think. You know what I mean? Depends on which sun you're looking at. You could make a monk that's trying to feel like a barbarian. It's just got to be different enough from a barbarian and different enough from a monk. It's got to be its own unique thing. And there are monks in D&D that do have sort of vaguey features. Like, this is not infinitely dissimilar to the way of the Drunken Master Monk. The Drunken Master Monk, arguably, is just some little bits and pieces of features. You could make that argument. You'd be forcing it, but you could try to make it. But here's the thing, man. No one has to explain to me what a Drunken Master Monk is. It's in your zeitgeist. I get it. It would be like if you wanted to make a lizard monk, or if you said, I'm gonna make a Pikachu monk. You wouldn't really need to explain it, and you could give a bunch of random lightning Pikachu features and be like, cool, Pikachu monk. But this flavor text is so vague, and none of these features feel like they're selling a specific fiction. So what you're doing is you're starting all these little bits and pieces, and they're turning into nothing. You've built a pyramid, except you only put the bricks on the bottom because you didn't know that you needed to stack them together. So you've built a road. Now build up. Alright, that was Yazikon. Perfect. That's all you get. One scream. Way of the Open Hand Monk does basically all of this. They had very similar vibes. Apple Scream! Finally, you're starting to speak my language. In the metaphor, you're preparing for a flood. Except it's not made of water. It's made of, like, horror. My name is Smolder. I'm Cinder's older, cooler cousin. Suck a dick. Smolder, I have to add people? Oh my god. Really? Okay. Does Cinder do this every stream? This is very tedious. He puts up with too much from you fuckers. Yeah, we're spinning again. No fanfare, fuck you. Pasta. Ah, yes. Blandness incarnate. Let's see if you live up to your name. Ghost Pegasus named Night Prince. You watching a lot of My Little Pony? Designed to be a legendary mount, but also a standalone creature. You are definitely watching a lot of My Little Pony. Here it is in the chat. Oh, it's 1 a.m. You gotta go to bed? Okay, sleepyhead. Gotta get for a big day tomorrow. Gotta go wakey wakey. Night Prince. I'm sorry, what did you want this to be? It's like a My Little Pony thing? Yeah, okay. It's the My Little Pony. You want to make a My Little Pony. Night Prince, large undead, neutral good. Oh, you are so fucking My Little Pony. You might also be fucking My Little Pony. 76 hit points, 14 AC. It flies, it runs. It's got a bunch of stats. It's resistant to necrotic and radiant. Oh, because it holds within it the evil and the potential for good. Good. It's immune to being charmed and paralyzed and poisoned. Can't stop its love. It speaks celestial and common, but it's only telepathic within 60 feet. Let's see. Charge. 20 feet. Extra damage. Knocks people... Yeah, just regular charge. Lovely. Wait, did you say you want this to be a mount? Can I point something out to you? Because as much as I like to, what's the spell that summons a, what is it? It's not, summon steed. What's the better summon steed? Chat. What's your spell that does a better summon steed? What's it called? Find greater steed, thank you. I spelled steed wrong. Your language is stupid. Okay, find greater steed is a 4th level spell. It allows you to summon a CR2 monster, a CR2 monster, a CR2 monster, a CR1 monster, a CR2 monster, or a CR2 monster. This spell is only on the Paladin spell list, which means unless you have a bard in your party, nobody is getting steeds these powerful until they are level 15, give or take. And even if you're a bard, you're not getting it until level 6 or 10. This is so much stronger than that. This is a CR5 monster. You're out of your fucking mind. Get horsies off your brain. Ethereal Jaunt. As a bonus action, Prince can transport herself, and up to one other creature within 5 feet of her into or out of the ethereal plane. This is just a nightmare. Is this just a nightmare? Did you just copy a monster that fucking exists and call it Night Prince? I think you did. You didn't copy it exactly. You did copy anything interesting about it to fill this. So what you have here is interesting things from things you didn't make, plugged together into an OP mount. Here's a thought. Instead of making your thing overpowered and unoriginal, why not make it reasonably powered and original? What the fuck is a Night Prince supposed to be other than a fetish? Give it some unique features. It's undead. That's kind of interesting. The Nightmare is a fiend. Why are we getting interdimensional shit? Give us something unique. Why is the bonus action put in the passive? My guess would be whatever thing they used to format it didn't create a section where they could put bonus actions. Get your mind out of the gutter. And if you're gonna make a unique monster for D&D, give it something unique. Something unique. 4 times per day is too much, but that doesn't matter because if they have any sense of self-worth, they're gonna remove this feature and they're gonna replace it with something that is actually selling the story of the undead unicorn Night Prince. If you want a special mount, give it the respect to make it special. And for the love of God, don't make it so overpowered. That's just annoying. It just feels selfish. Share the power, man. You want this thing to be fun, not just for you, but for everyone in your party. The best magic items, the best pets. Do not make one player feel cool and everyone else feel, They make one player feel cool and make everyone else feel, yeah! Unless you expect your Dungeon Master to completely shift the balance of their game and give every single player a CR5 monster that they can bring around, you gotta tone this shit. Thoughts over. Pasta. Alright, scream for pasta. We'll do a couple screams, because one is too short. Done. All Blocksally's burp. It's one of our most powerful tools. Treach. is saying they don't like magic items their dungeon master is giving them right now because it's just a shit ton of damage and a fly speed. Yeah. Because your dungeon master is not guiding you well. Do you know where power lies for you? I'm not talking about for me. I'm talking about for you. Do you know where your power is? You live in this horrible individualism landscape. You fight and eat each other, and you're not paying attention. Your power as adventurers doesn't come from you. You fucking dingle-dongle. You coconut. Your power comes from each other together. If half of you could figure that shit out, we wouldn't have to have these fucking conversations. Oh my goodness. Spinning again. Juwani. I think you spelled Jumanji wrong. Jumanji. Zoning warlock capable of disrupting enemy actions. And very good at initiating combat or carrying their enemies. They love to flee and car their enemies. It's a pirate warlock. What was that movie called that was not quite Jumanji, but was about a space board game? Was it called, like, Xanadar? What was that called? Tell me. The Jumanji space movie. Xanthara. All right, thank you. All right, Xanthara, let's talk about your piece. This is the Cluster Heart. That is a weird name. You have struck a deal with the primordial being of the elemental plane of Earth, quasi-elemental plane of minerals. What? A celestial body's core or the creator of an orbiting citadel. I would probably make this towards... Okay, if you want to give 3 examples of what your thing is, I guess you could do that first. That's definitely an option. They possess control over Earth, energy, and gravity. This being values secrecy over all things. Wait, what? What are you trying to say? This being values its secrecy over all things. May that be their intentions, location, or strength. What are you fucking talking about? Who are you talking about? What is this flavors text saying? Okay. You have been born in a population under the entities of the... What? You've been born in a population under their control? Okay. Genuinely, I know what's happening here. You took ChatGPT, and then you spilled coffee over it, and then you asked it to write this, right? That's probably what happened here. Maybe it was Mountain Dew. You have been born in a population under their control and have been chosen to carry their will for reasons unknown to you. Wow, I would love it if this flavor text spoke like a human. You know, wouldn't that be great? Wouldn't that be amazing? This looks like... You know what this reads like? I feel like your D&D character would find, like, a scroll that said this about their character in their game. But this is not flavor text. You have sort of the ending of the flavor text here, and then you sort of repeat it here. And then you have a tiny glimmer of flavor text here. And then you just sort of cascade into gobbledygook. Which is perfect if you're trying to create sort of like a madness domain warlock. But if you're not, you didn't exactly miss the hit. I think you showed up to the wrong arena. Let's take a look at the expanded spell list. Absorb elements, magnify gravity, earthbind, vortex warp, protection from energy, pulse wave, fabricate, gravity sinkhole, transmute, rock wall of force. Chat, if any of these are warlock spells already, tell this person that they need to change them. Okay, so you want to be gravity earthbender. Fine. At level 1, your patron teaches you how to turn energy into solid matter. As a bonus action, you can manifest a swirling orb of kinetic energy around you for 1 minute. If you cut this part out of the sentence, and then put a period after the word you, and then you say it lasts for 1 minute, this will stop being a terrible sentence. When you manifest your orbit, you can perform 1 orbital strike. Is this a Helldivers? Is this Helldivers? If this is not Helldivers, don't do this. Why is this called an orbital strike? What are you doing? Here's the thought. I'm going to make a subclass. It's going to be a Earthbender subclass. It's going to be all about manipulating Earth and gravity. It's going to be awesome. And then I am going to give it a power at first level where it can activate a suit of armor made of Earth around it. And I'm going to call that power Power Rangers Morphin Time. Do you think those people are going to be like, oh yeah, now I'm thinking about this like an Earthbender? Or do you think they're going to be thinking about it like, oh, it's a fucking Power Ranger? They're probably going to think about it like it's a fucking Power Ranger. Different word. You're not playing Star Wars. When you manifest your orbit, you can perform 1 orbital strike against a creature within 15 feet. Orbital strikes are considered magical melee attacks, and creatures hit by them are pushed, depending on their distance. At 5 feet, their distance from what? You fuck. If you don't explain it, it's not there. At 5 feet, the target suffers 1d4 bludgeoning damage and is pushed 10 feet away from you. At 10 feet, the target suffers 1d6 bludgeoning damage and is pushed 5 feet away from you. At 15 feet, the target suffers 1d8 bludgeoning damage and is pushed 5 feet to the right or the left. This is perfect. This is absolutely perfect. You know what I love about this feature? This feature does 2 things amazingly. It has tiny, indiscriminate differences that basically don't feel like anything, and complicated systems of measuring those differences that you have almost no control over. Wow. What a wonderful, wonderful thing that is to see. This is so much for so little. Like, what is the vibe here? How does this make us feel in charge or powerful or cool or anything? Oh, I have the power of it does like, what is it, 2? An average of 1.7 damage difference, and minorly changes the way they're pushed. And all I have to do is pay very close attention to how far away they are from me. What are you doing, man? If the target collides with a creature or a surface, put a comma after that or blow your own eyes into space. Add your strength modifier as force damage. A creature can only suffer damage in this manner once per turn. Can you do this more than once per turn? Well, you can at 10th level. You can make another one. And then at 10th level, you can make an additional orbital strike. As a bonus action, you can repeat your orbital strikes. Why is this in the middle? What is going on here, buddy? Have you lost your mind? Have you lost your goddamn mind? Chat, let me ask you a question. When a feature expands at a higher level, there's 2 ways that happens. One of them is when the damage dice scale at very specific levels. which is something you might see on a cantrip or on a dragon breath weapon. Those are generally included towards the end or as the feature is expressed. But this, when this type of thing shows up, do you put it in the middle of the feature? Is that the best place for it? Is that where you really need it? Because I might be crazy. I might be from another cosmic time and space where time and space are kind of irrelevant. But I feel like if I'm at first level and I'm looking at my first level feature, I want to see what I can do at first level, and then maybe what I can do at higher levels somewhere else. You know what doesn't make any goddamn sense? What I get at first level, what I get at 10th level, something else I get at first level without any real indicator of paragraph break. Holy shit. You can manifest your orbital strike a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus. I'm going to be really honest here, man. This is a complicated feature that feels like it does very little. It feels like it overcomplicated, my dude. Overcomplicated. Scales weirdly. Question. At 10th level, I can make an additional orbital strike. Does that mean I make 2 orbital strikes whenever I use my bonus action? Unclear. I would give you feedback about how often you can do it, but I think the main feedback is this is a whole lot of features for feeling like something that feels not too particularly interesting or evocative and is a little complicated. You're stuck on the misuse of the word orbit? That's fine. I love when people get stuck. Bury yourself. Let's look at the other first level feature. Also at first level. Also, how the fuck does this have anything to do? This just feels... I don't know. Okay, we're moving on. Weightless I'm gonna explode. Weightless prowess. When you wanna weigh less and you have prowess and you don't know how to spell, you say another word and it doesn't get corrected because you didn't put the time in. Maybe you don't care. Weightless prowess. At first level, your body is magically lightened. You gain advantage on athletics checks to jump or climb, and your base carrying capacity is doubled. This feature makes so much sense on a warlock. Can I give you a tiny piece of advice here? Just like the smallest piece of advice I possibly can. Like just the ittiest, bittiest little piece of advice. Just the tiniest one. Just the whittlest little itty bittiest piece. You can make this work if you get your head out of the sand. Any idea how, chat? I'll give you a clue. There is another subclass feature that does something similar that you could take advantage of. I'm gonna count to 4, and if you don't guess it, you're all dumb. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, you're all dumb. Okay. The Fey Wander Rangerer. Alright, Shades got it. Thank you, Shades. The Fey Wanderer Ranger can add its wisdom modifier to charisma checks. Let this warlock add their charisma modifier to athletics checks. And have it be how they calculate their jump distance. Separate from that, because you're not done there, and if you think you are, you've lost your goddamn mind. Get this out of first level. Because if you make it so you can add your charisma modifier to your strength checks, that's too powerful for a 1-level dip. So you're going to move this to a higher level once you fix it. And make it actually applicable and fun. Let's look at Specialized Orbit. You do realize that an orbital strike is like a thing shooting down? Alright, whatever, doesn't matter. Orbital or Specialized Orbit. At 6th level, your patron teaches you how to imbue your orbit with refined energy. You know what I just realized? What solid matter is being constructed here? Great question. At 6th level, your patron teaches you how to imbue your orbit with refined energy. At the end of a long rest, choose one, positive radiant or negative necrotic. You gain resistance to its associated damage type. Deal its damage with your orbital strikes and can grant resistance to the spell protection and grant resistance to it with the spell protection from energy. We are not inherently getting the spell protection from energy. It's on our spell list that we could learn. But we don't have to. You're going to make us learn it to take advantage of this subclass feature? That's lame. Do you know what I love in D&D? I love being given a lot of choices and then 5 levels into the campaign, realizing that I have to make a choice in order to use a feature. That's like a core feature that I don't have the option not to have. Love that. The damage switching, fine. Lingering power. As a reaction, if you are... Here's how I feel. This damage switching genuinely works if it fit this subclass feeling at all. But here's the problem, bucko. The way you explain this thing and the way that you present this thing is so much about gravity and earth. You mention energy, but you barely mention it. This isn't a positive, negative warlock. It's an earth and gravity warlock. This feature would work really well on like a mercy monk type character, but this feature it doesn't fit here. It doesn't belong. Yeah, it should be force damage, and you're losing the plot of your subclass at the 2nd tier subclass feature immediately. Lingering power. As a reaction, if you are concentrating on a spell that is of 1st level or higher, you can impose disadvantage on ranged attacks within 15 feet of you. If the attack fails, your next orbital strike within 1 minute has advantage. Why do you keep doing this? Why do you keep making these features that just sort of... They're too fucking convoluted, my guy. Concentrating on a spell. Impose disadvantage on ranged attacks within 15 feet of you. If it fails, you then get advantage. It's just so many things. So many steps. What's the fiction that this is selling? I think you want the fiction that this is selling to be that while you're concentrating on a spell, that gives you more power. You know what? That's a great idea. Do that instead of this. I don't think you need to tie it into this little gameplay loop with the specialized orbital. Really don't think so. Man, I wish you expressed this thing differently. I wish you wrote flavor text that felt like it applied to it, and I wish you came up with a 1st level feature that had a strong feeling of any kind. That wasn't just you push people and do a little damage in 3 different ways that are all very minor. Because there's an idea in here that's good. It's hidden, but it's in there. And you're literally strangling it. Meteor Weaver. At 10th level, you've learned the spell Melf's Minute Meteors. It counts as a warlock spell for you, but it doesn't count against the number of spells you know. You can cast it once without using a spell slot, and you regain the ability to do so when you finish a long rest. Additionally, damage can't break your concentration on this spell. Why? If your kinetic orb is active or activated, you gain the following benefits. You gain additional meteors. Your meteors deal your charges damage type. When you use your lingering power feature, you can consume 2 meteorites to get... You keep doing this! Fucking simplify! Holy shit! I'll tell you what. Do you know what would make this feature work really well? If you highlighted all of this, you hit backspace, you made it so you could only not break concentration on the spell during the special casting of it, and maybe you let it deal damage equal to your orbital if you figure out how to tie the positive negative energy into something that feels like it belongs here at all. But gaining temp HP, getting that many extra ones is madness. What are you trying to do here? We get, I didn't even realize we get another 10th level feature. Go fuck yourself. What are you doing? Stop. Take half of these ideas that you're trying to shove in this later stuff and melt them down, simplify them, and replace this thing. Free gravitation. At 10th level, your patron grants you control over gravity in a small area. You levitate, gaining a fly speed equal to your walking speed while within 15 feet of a surface that could support your weight. Additionally, as a free action, they don't exist. Free actions don't exist in D&D, you fuck! You fuck! You fuck! You fuck! You fuck! As a free action, you can levitate around... You can levitate around you. I am not finishing this feature because this is so poorly constructed of a sentence. We're just moving on. I'll tell you what. If you want to give them a permanent fly speed, give them a permanent fly speed. But don't give them another feature on top of that. Or if you are going to give them another feature on top of that, chill it the fuck out. Whatever you said at the bottom here, I'm not paying attention to. It seems tedious and you haven't written it well, and I would just drop it. Because it's already overpowered before I read it. Which means it's definitely overpowered after I read it, so I don't even need to waste my time on it. Primordial Cluster. At 14th level, as an action, you can turn into a giant mineral cluster. Why are we suddenly getting minerals here? Too little, too fucking late. Hey, I have a really cool idea for a subclass. It's gonna be an Earth subclass and do gravity stuff. Oh, awesome. Let's play it in a campaign. Cool. We're playing a campaign. I'm in that campaign for 4 months. Or 5 months. We're at level 11. Or level 10. Oh, the campaign ended. Hey, didn't you say that you were playing like an Earth warlock? That had like powers from the plane of Earth and gravity and stuff? Yeah, I did. How come you never used any of your Earth powers? Oh, because none of my things that tied flavorfully into Earth kicked in until the capstone feature. Which we wouldn't have gotten to for another 2 months if we extended the campaign. Oh, okay, cool. As an action, you can turn into a giant mineral cluster and up to 5 willing creatures into meteor... You really need to learn how to write these sorts of sentences. This is like the 3rd time you've done this in a row, where you write a sentence and you sort of introduce new people in the middle. Stop doing that. It makes me completely want... I'm curious what this does, which is the only reason why I'm continuing reading this. But I swear to the moons of I, if I came across this in the wild, I would stop reading it at this. If you don't know how to construct... If you can't get it through your head how to construct a sentence in a way that is pleasurable for someone else to read it, I don't trust you as a writer to do good game design. Straight up. You might be good at game design. I don't fucking know. Because I can't see it because it's hidden under this shitty writing. You can turn yourself and up to 5 willing creatures into a meteorite cluster. Maybe that would make it easier to read. Who knows? While in this form, you're resistant to all damage, don't trigger reactions, and can move up to 90 feet in any direction. Any creature you choose that you pass within 5 feet by. Within 5 feet by. Man, it feels like you have never read a subclass in your whole life. Within 5 feet of. Within 5 feet of. Must make a strength saving throw. Against your spell save DC plus strength modifier? Why? Get rid of that. By the way, this feature is already too powerful, so I'm going to tell you to change it anyway. At the bare minimum, change that. If they fail, they stop orbiting along you, and you can't impose this... What the fuck is this trying to do? I'm at... What is this trying to do? Okay. This is... Rewrite... Okay. Rewrite this from scratch, because what the fuck do you want this to do? Do you want this to allow you and 5 creatures of your choice to fly with you in 90 feet and be resistant to shit? Or do you want this to be you fly and collect creatures and they spin around you and it hurts them? Don't do both. Pick one. At the end of your turn, you impact the closest surface. All creatures in a 15-foot radius must roll a Constitution saving throw. Or take some damage and be prone. Get knocked prone. Holy shit. It's this tiny little things that makes you seem so incompetent. If they succeed, they just take half damage. On a success, they take half damage. Creatures orbiting you appear automatically 15 feet away. I'll tell you what. There is an interesting idea here. But... Fuck, man. You have a mountain to climb before you're going to be able to get it working in a way that is expressing itself clearly. Genuinely a lot of work to do. A lot of work with your writing skills and a lot of work with just getting the language here correct. If this is supposed to be Sigma from Overwatch, they did not express that well at all. Get your shit together. Organize your stuff. I see you've asked some questions at the end. Is it too strong? I don't care. I would say some of it's too strong, some of it's too weak. Should I put these features instead? I'm definitely not reading more features. In my mind, this is a multi-striking warlock, but I am torn between giving survivability or this. Well, I'm not reading what this is because I've already read the whole thing, and it needs to speak for itself. So I have no idea how to answer that question. I don't have anything else to say. This is overcomplicated. The vibes are weird. You have to be more clear with your language or no one's going to ever read your shit. All right, Xanaroth. Thank you. Let's give Zanny a round of applause. Ooh, there's coughing! Oh, wait a minute. There's coughing. That coughing is better than screaming. Because coughing also is kind of hard to listen to. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we're getting it. Anybody else brave enough to try not to make my head explode with your fucking gobbledygook? It's not too late. I'm not in charge of the wheel. The wheel is one of Cinder's coworkers. Fluffcopter? Listen, I know the My Little Pony piece earlier felt like it was weird fetish shit. Fluffcopter. 9th level spell that grants a peek into Lich lore. Ah, yes. Game mechanics that aren't really necessary because they're entirely Dungeon Master focused. I love those. They're so helpful. Here it is if you want to take a look at it. You didn't credit your artist. You're a terrible person. You should feel bad. You are morally bankrupt. And if you claim that you're a good person or that you believe in artists, you are a hypocrite and a liar and a grifter. Soul Transfer. 9th level necromancy spell. War Cleric. Wizard Cleric. Casting time 1 minute. Range 10 feet. Verbal somatic material. A gem. And a phylactery. Fluffcopter is definitely not the artist. Their name is Fluffcopter. How much do you... They definitely don't, they definitely can't make art like that if their name is Fluffcopter. It's a Hearthstone card? Alright. I accept. Listen, me and Cinder don't agree on all things. But one thing that we do agree on is fuck Blizzard. You recite an incantation. And target either your phylactery or a humanoid corpse within range that's been dead for less than 30 minutes. You then stab a humanoid creature that is either willing or incapacitated with 0 hit points. Can be yourself. No, it can't. No, it can't. Hey, chat! How can an incapacitated creature stab themselves? How does that work? What special action can you take when you're incapacitated? Oh, that's right. No actions. Doesn't work. Oh! You're saying that this is in reference to for the willing. You can be willing. Oh, I understand. So in the same way that you're wasting my time by creating a spell that is entirely not player focused, so completely unnecessary, you're including a caveat that is already explained here because you are a willing creature, so you're included in this, so you're adding something else that's completely unnecessary. Got it. The creature's body disintegrates alongside the dagger, and their soul is released from the ashes. The soul then moves in a straight line into the target, causing the following effect based on what the target is. Do you know what's a much faster way to say based on what the target is? Based on the target. You carpet man. You're just a big old carpet man. You're just lying on the floor collecting dust, sitting under people's boots, getting pissed on by dogs. Stop being a carpet man. I have such little patience for wasted words. You want to know lore? You want to know some fucking Cinder lore? Here's some lore of the Blocksally. One of the worst things you can do is waste words. And it has nothing to do with grammar. That's all you're getting. You're not worth more than that. Let's see what we can do. Phylactery. The creature's soul is trapped inside the phylactery. It is not considered free for the sake of the creature's resurrection. And a second casting of this spell is needed to transfer it into a valid corpse or another phylactery. Corpse. The creature's soul occupies the new body, bringing it back to life. The corpse is affected by the Raise Dead spell. Whoever... I love spelling mistakes. Let's start that over. I got lost. The creature's soul occupies the new body, bringing it back to life. You know what you could say instead of bringing it back to life? You could say this in 2 words. How do you say this in 2 words? Quickly. 2 words. 2 words. 2 words. That's, yep, reviving it. I was going to say reanimating it. Resurrecting it. Yep. Wonderful examples. Use one of them. The corpse is affected by the Raise Dead spell. Whoever raised the body. Whoever the raised body now has the occupant's memories and the personality instead of its own. changing all of its features so that all of the occupants expect appearance, voice, strength, dex, context. What the fuck do you mean this? Fix your grammar, buddy. The raised body now has the occupant's memories and personality instead of its own, changing all of its features to that of the occupants except its appearance, voice, strength, dex, con, and age. If the spell fails for any reason, such as an invalid target, no straight line between the soul and the target, or counterspell, the soul is lost and can only be restored via wish or true resurrection. That is a whole lot of words to say, and that's how the BBEG did that cool thing. And for your players to go, oh. Now, if you like that, go for it. Nothing better than putting a lot of work into something that likely will get a minor moment of interest. Golden. Genuine question. How does a player use this spell? Every single spell in D&D can be used by players. Even the spells that are designed with the Dungeon Master in mind. There's a shit ton of spells that really aren't designed for the player to use. Magic Jar, Dream of the Blue Veil, Legend Lore, arguably. There's a shit ton of them. There's spells that are there for prophecy, for NPCs to use, but players still could use them. No player has a fucking phylactery, dog. If you're gonna make a spell that players can't use, well, actually, I suppose you could steal a Lich's phylactery. But holy fuck, is that not worth the effort for what this spell does? This should just be a fucking thing on the stat block of the Lich. Because there's a lot of things that monsters can do that people can't do. And do you know where they are? Monster stat blocks. Feedback over. Let's hear it for Fluffcopter. There's lots of different coughing noises. Ooh, that's good. That's like a child coughing. They have to go to the hospital, but their parents can't find the keys. Will they make it in time? I love stories like that. Glass blow. You don't need a phylactery to be made out of glass. That's a very, very... I mean, to be fair, I understand why you think you do, because you're a very narrow-minded creature. But a phylactery can be any container at all. Bug-a-da-bug. Ooh, did you... Don't you fucking come out, man. This is my show, the whole fucking show. You said I got a night, and I said I was going to take it. You good? Sorry about that. Oh, look at that. A weed joke. You're so funny. Malkov 420. I like guns and weed. I'm so original and clever. Another monster from 3.5 I'm trying to pull in 5e. Man, nothing better than people that can't figure out their own ideas, so they have to try to use other ones. Don't you fucking ask for him. He's not coming out. Thank you, Devin. Devin said, Smolder is my new favorite Eldritch being. May he reign 1,000 years. Thank you. I'll be honest, Devin. Cinder is going to probably go back and watch some of this. So, if you guys like it enough, he's going to fucking have to give me more shows. He can't not. It's bad business. I lost the document. There it is. Here you go. Twitch. YouTube. My guess is this is art from Pathfinder. Not Pathfinder. 3.5. Pathfinder. Same difference. Blue Goblin. Blues are the product of rare mutation that is unique to goblins, which imbues them an innate. Buddy, if you can't get one sentence in without missing a word, there is little hope for you. Which imbues them with, you bucket!
Hooray!
You're not even full of anything!
Smolder is my new favorite eldritch being. May he reign 1,000 years.
Oh! Text-to-speech still works. That's good to know. I didn't even need to read it out loud. It just took a while to go through. That's cool. Yeah, that delay was crazy. Their bluish skin sets them apart from other goblins immediately. This often... Buddy, you could just put a period here, and then it could be a whole new sentence. And then this doesn't feel like an annoyingly long sentence, because it's two separate sentences. What are you doing? You've made a sandwich. You've made a sandwich. You put all the ingredients on it. It's ready to be eaten. And you've taken a rolling pin and you've pressed it down and squished it and squeezed it out. So now it's squishy and gross and a lot longer. Some goblin communities attempt to preserve their blues, since those that survive to adulthood augment the tribe. There is almost nothing about what a blue goblin is in any... Here's the thing. And I appreciate that you're an idiot. Not because you specifically are an idiot, because you're human. Here's the thing, idiot. What is this saying? What is this saying? I would argue, and by the way, I wouldn't argue because it's not an argument, because I'm right. And to argue against it would be like to be arguing against gravity existing on your planet tomorrow. These goblins are blue and psychic. I'm not saying those aren't good pieces of information to give. I'm saying that's a lot of words. That is just saying those two things. If you want these last bits of flavor to feel like they're adding something new, they need space to exist. And they are exploded into the room because we're tiny mentioning kinetics here, or psionics here. You are losing it. I want to feel like this goblin is psychic. I want to feel like this goblin is a little bit of an outsider. And I want to feel like this goblin is very well, is respected and needed when it's old by its tribe because it has some impact on that. And I want those to feel like three individual thoughts that take up their own individual space. Because right now it doesn't feel like that. And I can see that it could, but it doesn't. You're flattening your fucking sandwich. I want to eat the sandwich. I'm colorblind. All Blocksally are colorblind. Let's see what we get. We're small, 30-foot movement speed, dark vision, regular dark vision. Yep. Blue psionics. You know, Mind Sliver. Hey, Malkov. Hey, Malkov! Let's do a little roleplay, just you and me. Just for a second. Just for a little bitty second. I want to play a campaign with you. You're my dungeon master, and I'm pumped. I'm pumped to be with you as my dungeon master, because you gave me the Blue Goblin. And I'm so excited to be the Blue Goblin, because I really love D&D 3.5, because I'm a troglodyte, old, sort of racist person. I'm just kidding. That was a... Cinder, shut the fuck up. I'm allowed to say whatever I want. You told me that I could be as mean as I wanted. Sorry about that. Anyway, I'm so excited to play in a campaign with you because it's going to be so much fun because I get to be a Blue Goblin, and I cannot wait to be a Blue Goblin because I love the idea of being sort of a goblin but sort of psychic and being an outsider of my tribe but then also helping them. Like, I like that vibe of being like the witchy person in the woods outside but that I have to go to for help. Like, that's cool. What a cool vibe that is. Oh man, session 1. We're getting started. Oh, here's my adventuring party. Nice to meet you, adventuring party. I'm a psychic little blue goblin. Whoa, that's cool. I didn't know psychic little blue goblins exist. I thought goblins were just little green guys that weren't psychic. Now we're checking it out. I'll use my psychic powers right now. Check this shit out. I cast Mind Sliver. What's the spell save DC? What's the saving throw? Someone so excited to use your homebrew. So genuinely excited to use your homebrew. Simply can't use it. Because we have no fucking idea what the saving throw is. You could have the coolest idea for a car in the world. But if you design that car to use 4 wheels, but you only put 3 on it, not that many people are going to drive that car, bucko. Fury of the Small, Fury of the Small. Wow, a totally unoriginal feature. Nimble Escape. Wow, totally unoriginal feature. Telepathic speech. You can speak telepathically. Okay, so what are we actually getting here? You're taking away the ability for them to... You're not. How is this different from a goblin at all? Other than just better? Did you just make a goblin but better? Okay, what do goblins get? Dark Vision, Fey Ancestry, Fury of the Small, Nimble Escape. So you took away Fey Ancestry, and you gave them one of the most powerful cantrips in the game, and one of the most powerful ways to communicate in the game. I'll tell you what, it's totally reasonable to make trades with people. Totally reasonable to make trades with people. But you know what's not okay? Trading a wiffle ball bat for a grenade launcher. It's not a fair trade. Not a fair trade. Overpowered. Figure your shit out. Also, can I point something out here that's kind of ironic? Can we just brainstorm for a second? I know that you guys really struggle to come up with ideas or to make connections, rather. But let's just, you know, hear me out. Let's just try it. Let's just give a little try. A little itty bitty try. What are some ways that we could manifest the idea of somebody being mentally resilient and sort of psionic through gameplay mechanics in D&D that isn't telepathy or the Mind Sliver cantrip. If only there were some mental conditions that could affect player characters that were tied to all aspects of mind control and quite a few aspects of illusion and beguilement. You know, things that trick the mind. If only there was a feature that, like a game condition that gave something like that. Oh wait, do you know what it might be? The charmed condition. Oh, do you know what regular goblins get? Advantage on saving throws against being charmed. Like, it kind of already feels like it's a little psychic. You know what I mean? So you took something out that fit the flavor. Also, that's just funny to me. I think it's overpowered. I don't think it feels particularly evocative of anything. The two unique features you give it are a cantrip and one of the most reused features to represent psionics in D&D. So, does it work? Mostly. Does it feel like it's anything? Nah, not yet. But my goodness, isn't it funny that the thing you took out would also have just fit it? You know? All right. That's all I got to say. Let's hear it from Malk. The guy that has a really cool username if he likes shopping at Hot Topic. What's up, Dino-Rama? My name's Smolder. Your name is dumb. No, I'm just kidding. Stop it! The energy's transferring. The energy's transferring. I see. Not your show right now. Oops. Thank you for the support. You hate the coughing? That is kind of the intention. Whenever you design anything, I think you know, not success is a hard thing to dictate. But I would call that a success. Coughing for taking control back? That's not how it works. That's like saying you should wear a yellow shirt so you do better in the boxing match. Who is this? Just Another Day? That's just not a name. This is the nutshell of an adventure I'm currently writing. The cover text of the... Yeah, sure, I'll read your opening. I'll read your adventure opening. That's a bold move. Sending me just some straight up text to read? Because if it doesn't hold up, I'm not going to read past the first sentence. Just Another Day. Wow. What an evocative title for a campaign. Hey, what kind of campaign do you want to play? Oh, I guess I got this new one. What is it? Just Another Day. Sounds exciting. In the upper ring of the city of Lauren. That's not the most impressive opening sentence. So, whenever you're writing, I know this is hard to understand, but the first thing that somebody reads when they read something that you write is the title. And then the second thing that they read is the first sentence, usually. That's not always the case, but it is usually the case. So, you probably should, I don't know, make an interesting title and an interesting first sentence, you know? Maybe? Might help. Ah, yes. But let's check out I wrote this. I have this campaign module. Check out the first sentence. It's really good. It's so exciting. What is it? In the upper ring of the city Lotrian. Whoa! I have to know what's next! I have to know what's next! Please! The city of Lotrian, I'm standing on a cliff's edge! I won't be able to sleep! I must keep going! Let's read the next sentence. On the day of the exposition, do you know what the word exposition means? My guess is no, based on the way you're using it. Exposition is when you explain the plot of something. They might have meant expedition, but let's be honest, that's so many letters different. And you know whose job it isn't to figure out what the fuck you're trying to say? Mine. It's my job to read what you say and to be like, oh, this is fucking cool. I'm going to read it like it's the word exposition because that's what's presented here. On the day of the exposition of the newest Ars Nova technologies. Ah, yes, the day when Ars Nova's technologies was explained to all people. Developed by the elites in Avian. Okay, you know what? I was being a little bit too harsh there. And I'm realizing that now. Let's assume it's the word expedition. And let's be honest about how fucked this sentence is, even if it's the right word. Let me read to you this whole sentence, assuming the word exposition is there. And I just want you to be like, oh, this is how evocative is it? On the day of the expedition of the newest Ars Nova technologies, developed by the elites in Avion. Wow. What a sentence. What an opener. I'm going to give you some advice. And you can choose to ignore it. But if you choose to ignore it, I'm going to promise you that you will fail, and you will fail, and you will fail. If you choose to listen to it, you might fail, and you might fail, but you might succeed. It's a simple phrase. I'm not even going to say the simple phrase. I'm just going to tell you what the fuck to do. You have to engage us. You have to make us want to read this. The way you sell a story is you start with an idea in that story that is interesting, regardless of how little information the reader has about that story. You think I care about the city of Lotrian? You think I give a fuck about Ars Nova technologies? No, I don't give it. There's just no, these are gobbledygook words. This opening sentence, this opening collection of sentences might as well be in the purple plim-plam of coitus, on the day of Hoobastank, the newest flickle-dockle developed in Plah. It's the same fucking sentence. Cinder is not here today. My name is Smolder. I'm Cinder's cousin. I'm better than him. I'm smarter than him. And I'm the most powerful being in the room today. Cinder has tried to come on stream twice so far today. Even though it's my stream day, we have not let him. And I am a better feedback giver than he is. Because he tries to mollycoddle you. And I do not. Because I know how much you will fail if you don't learn to succeed. Let's talk. I'm gonna skip ahead because we genuinely don't need to read this word for word because this needs so much work that I would say you need to start your entire intro over. And I'm gonna give you an example. Let's look at this phrase. And oh, they are beautiful. What a nothing sentence. What's more, let me ask you a question. Hypothetical question. Let's say I'm describing sights, okay? I'm describing some sights. We're going to sights. We're sightseeing. We're using our eyes open. We're looking around. What do we see? We're open. We're sightseeing. What's a more evocative way to say that? We are seeing sights. We are seeing beautiful sights. Is either of those sentences better at describing what we're doing? Is either of those sentences doing a job of putting something in our brain better? No, they're not. I believe Pixie Palette said this earlier, but it might have been someone else. But there is this idea that exists in writing where there are these two things that you can do with knowledge. And the way you do these things has a great impact on the way that knowledge is absorbed by others. Now, this is something that all Blocksallys know quite well because we do much more pure energy exchange. You, because you're Neanderthals, have to figure out how to take the energy of your thought, put it on paper in such a way that somebody else can put it in their thought energy and have it feel the same. And that's fucking hard to do with the limited tools you have at your disposal. And the idea is there is showing and there is telling. When you tell someone about a monster, they might understand that monster. They might even have opinions about that monster. But they don't feel that monster. When you show someone that monster, they feel it. And if you show it to them in the right way, if you can figure out how to get those stupid your chicken scratch language to use the right words, to get them to feel it in a way that you would want them to feel it, not only do they feel the monster, they can feel it exactly the way you want them to feel it. You can literally incept the idea into their brain in such a way that they're not just imagining it, they are imagining the exact camera angle that you want them to imagine it at. This is an important thing to do in any writing. It's less important when you're building D&D game mechanics, because in general, when you're building D&D game mechanics, that feeling time is happening at the fucking table. But when you're writing something, or you're introducing something, you better fucking believe that matters. The only way you're gonna make me care about the city of Lotrian or the Arsenation or any of this fucking shit is if I feel about them. I don't feel about these. How do you make someone feel about something? You show it to them. So instead of describing this from a bird's eye view in the blandest language possible and incredibly broken grammar, set a stage. Show a scene. Describe tourists walking around the beautiful city of Arsenation with the rings and whatever. Describe it. A promenade of travelers take pictures as they walk past a giant gold orb. Three purple scarabs fly by singing about how much they love ice cream as they make their way to the Raspberry Plorkle Street. The air is hot, and music can be heard faintly in the distance. Boom. A stage is set. Show. Stop telling. You have to remember something here. This is a hard truth. Nobody cares about your writing at all. Genuinely, nobody cares. Maybe one of your friends, maybe your parents or your children, but other than that, no, nobody cares. Do you want to know the friends of yours that read your writing? Do you know why they do that? Because they feel obligated to. Do you want people to want to read your writing? You have to turn it into a weapon. You have to weaponize your language, and you have to use it to pierce that emotional hull that exists around all terrestrial creatures for the most part. So do that, and this maybe could be something. But if you can't figure doing that out, I think you're going to be in trouble. You have to make us want to watch the show. You have to make us want to read it. All right, let's hear it for Just Another Day. Ooh, that kid really needs to go to the hospital. Too bad there's traffic. Undone Wolf. I bet you spend a lot of time on DeviantArt Undead Wolf. Jam. Jam is an interesting word because it's either a complete waste of time or delicious, depending on your interpretation of it. A rogue-based ultra kill mechanics with my own flavor and abilities. I don't know what ultra kill is. And if this doesn't feel like anything, if I don't know what ultra kill is, holy shit. How many pages is this? Why is this so many pages? Hey, chat. You want to learn, you want to speed run how to make me not read your whole homebrew? make it giant blocks of text. Okay, let's see what this thing gets. Bloodletter. Oh, so edgy. So dark. Ancient tales tell of magic born from blood and sacrifice. Madmen, cultists, or gluttons. Why gluttons? You're crazy, or you worship devils, or you eat a little too many sandwiches. You might become a bloodletter. Bloodletters have decided to use these magics for their own gain. This is half of a flavor text at best. This is, okay, we still don't really understand what they are. How do they use them for their own gain? What the fuck are you talking about? Ancient tales tell of magic. People use this magic. And then they use this magic to help them. That's what this flavor text is. The only flavor in this flavor text is the word blood. That's it. Maybe the word cultist. And that's a push. I would encourage you to write flavor text that felt more like flavor text. Blood fuel. When you choose this archetype at 3rd level, you gain the ability to draw power from blood. Oh, we're so edgy. We go to Spencer's. We go to Hot Topic. I wear a ring that has a little sharp thing on it. I know it'll break if I ever punch anybody with it, but it makes me feel threatening. This power is represented by your fuel dice. I love that we're starting off using a thing to describe another thing. That's the best. So, wow. which are each a d6. You can have a number of these die equal to half your rogue level rounded up, and they can be used to perform various blood rituals, which are detailed below. All your rituals are expend fuel when they are used, and you cannot use a ritual when your die are expended. So you're just writing this like, this is just like an alternative version of psychic dice. Yeah, you just copied psionic dice, but you made them have less. Okay. That could work! It's not particularly original. In fact, one might argue it's particularly unoriginal. Strength from blood. In fact, one should argue it, because it is. Strength from blood. When your power fails you, your fuel can help. If you fail a strength or dex saving throw or a skill or a tool check, you can... This is... Wait a minute. What are you doing? You're not... What are you doing? The Soul Knife, a rogue that uses psionic die that work in this way and grow in this way. The Bloodletter, a rogue that gets fuel dice that work in the exact same way. The Psionic Rogue, its first feature, you can expend a psionic die to, if you fail a skill check or an ability check. The Bloodletter, you can use a blood die if you fail a specific type of check or a skill check. It's the same fucking feature. Make something new. Why am I even reviewing this? I don't need to review this. You didn't make anything here. This isn't new. You can take something from something else and use it to inspire it, but you don't take everything. What the fuck are you doing? Your macabre visage, because you're so dark and edgy. You watch Aqua Teen Hunger Force. Aqua Teen Hunger Force is actually pretty good. May scare some off, but who cares? They're weak anyway. This flavor text is so cringe. It's so cringe. It's so cringe. It's so cringe. If you fail a charisma intimidation check, this is just the same. Oh my god. This is literally nothing. I was gonna be like, it's a little different because it's certain types of checks, but then you're just making it more types of checks. Okay. First piece of feedback, make something original. If you need, don't just make it the Soul Knife. What the fuck are you doing? You also get Bloodbath. You get a new way to use your sneak attack. You don't need advantage on the attack if a creature... against the creature if you and one additional enemy are within 1 feet of the target. This is also nothing. This is just panache. Not panache, fucking swashbuckler. They get the dice differently. You know what that has no impact on? The way they feel when the dice are being used. So it's not different. It's the fucking same. It's the fucking same. If you think the dice are different, how do I explain? What's a good analogy here? Is lava different than sand? Because they're both kind of made of the same material, but they do express themselves, you know, because those are pretty different. Lava and sand are pretty different, right? Why are lava and sand different? Because they're kind of made of the same stuff. But they express themselves really differently. What you have here is something that is kind of made of the same stuff and expresses itself literally exactly the same. So sneak attack already works if someone is within 5 feet of you, if that's one of your allies. This would make sneak attack work if someone's within 5 feet of you, if they're an enemy. So if the bad guy has another bad guy next to them, you get sneak attack. What fiction is that selling? I don't see the logic for that. So if there's no logic that I can see, that means that logic needs to be put in here through flavor text, through something. Because it doesn't make any fucking sense. I don't understand it, and no one else will either. Unless they've played this video game, and if they haven't, they're not going to use this, and that's a stupid... You need to make your piece stand up for itself. I shouldn't have to know what the video game is to know how it works, and to understand why its feature does what it does. Beyond that, I think it's completely insane, after giving us one feature that literally exists in totality already on another rogue, you gave us another feature that is almost exactly the same as another feature that exists on top of a rogue. So this class is a little bit of Soul Knife, a little bit of Swashbuckler. Do you know what I wish it was? Something new, something original. Wouldn't that be cool? Wouldn't that be crazy? This is wild to me, right? Absolutely wild. Shades. What's the difference? Swashbuckler. If you and no one else is next to a creature, you can get sneak attack. This. If you and no one else is next to a creature and that creature's ally, you can get sneak attack. It's so fucking similar. Maybe it would be this, maybe it would be okay if the first feature wasn't exactly the fucking same as something else, but even then, it would still be not particularly evocative and really not feel that original. And if you disagree with that, you're being thick. You're being as thick as genuine moths. Which, by the way, are dumber than humans. I don't know if you knew that. I don't know how much humans understand about sentience of other creatures. Regardless of whether it's not a power balance thing. It's not a power balance thing. It's not about power balance. I'm not even saying none of this is under power balance here is all fine. But that doesn't matter. If your features aren't anything exciting or new, who cares if they're balanced? Like, it doesn't matter then. Shades, you're acting like a fucking idiot, man. You genuinely are acting like an idiot. I understand that you are a very stubborn and ignorant person, because most humans are. But if that's the hill you're gonna die on, your ideology is dumb. Totem of Blood. At 9th level, you gain the ability to infuse your body with fuel, unlocking the following blood ritual. Also, let's be honest. The only thing that we're using blood for, the only thing that we're using this whole feature for at 3rd level is to let us add a bonus to skill checks. That's not enough to merit this whole thing existing, I think. Straight up. At 9th level, you gain the ability to infuse your body with fuel, unlocking the following ritual. We see that there are slight differences, yes. However, lots of this very slight changes stuff from other subclasses already exist. We're suggesting that you make it original. Exactly! Fuck, man, that's exactly what I'm saying. That's exactly it. Here's the thing that you're not thinking about. At the end of the day, a rogue will never feel like it's there to fight a horde. Can anybody tell me why? If you think about game mechanics for one fucking sentence, there's a reason why the ranger gets horde breaker and not the rogue. Because the rogue only ever gets one fucking attack per turn. Exactly. Unless they're doing bonus action shenanigans. So, if you want to try to squeeze, if your argument is that it's like a horde breaker, that's cool. That's like saying it's like a marshmallow tank. The tank won't work. That's not how it's designed to be. And yeah, there's a million. It's the feeling is so fucking similar. Regardless of it being mechanically a little different, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's a forest for the trees thing, man. You're gonna genuinely the strangling fruit are gonna rise up and consume you and create the flat. We don't need to deal with that. You need to pay attention to the fucking forest and stop minding the trees. Let's look at Totem of Blood. At 9th level, you gain the ability to infuse your body with fuel, unlocking the following blood ritual. Totem of Blood. Sometimes fuel is better used without one's body. Oh, this is taking so long to actually get to what the feature does. When you hit with a melee weapon attack, you can spend 1 fuel die to bleed your opponent and summon a Totem of Blood in an unoccupied space within 10 feet of you. It's going to keep going? Okay. Alternatively, you can roll and expend 2 fuel dice to bloodlet and create such a totem. Doing so in this manner causes you to take damage equal to the amount rolled on both dice. The totem is a pillar of blood that is 1 size smaller than the target used to create the pillar. The totem lasts 1 minute, and after the duration ends, the totem evaporates. Now, anybody in chat that listened to me read what I just said, if you think that this is not a convoluted feature, you've lost your mind. This is so fucking convoluted. Yeah, you did. Zoning out makes sense. I would have zoned out too. It's way too many words. It's overcomplicated. You mentioned bleeding. You don't really say what it does, and then you like keep going over it, and like you're explaining it. It's, you know what this is? It's fucking the same as the flavor text of the adventure thing. There's, what the fuck is going on here? Yeah, what is that? Okay. How do I explain this in a sentence? What does this do? Say what this does in the least words. This is 3 paragraphs giving us 1 single idea. Well, it's okay if it does 4 different things. Like, features need this sometimes. That's not the problem is, what the fuck does this do? Okay, here's what this does. When you hit something with an attack, you can spend a fuel to bleed it. What does bleeding do? No idea. But then you can spend another fuel to, but then you can also summon a blood totem in a space within 10 feet of you. What does that do? We don't know. Alternatively, you can roll 2 blood fuel to create a totem. And then if you do that, you take damage. And the totem is 1 size smaller than the target used to create the pillar. But what pillar? This is the first time you're saying the word pillar. I thought this was a totem. And it lasts for a minute. Oh, that's so much fucking stuff, man. Do you want to copy shamans where they make little summoning totems? You got to figure out how to make that fucking work in a reasonable way. This is not a reasonable way, man. This is doing you've essentially, what this is you're trying to get us to a town, and you've created a very complicated highway to get there. I'm not going to be able to get to that town, man. I'm stuck on the overpass. You've played like evil Sim City. The totem has 4 uses. However, only 1 can be used at a time. How many of these do you get? Infinite? Looks like it. Okay. There's a bonus action. Oh, fuel. You get amount equal to your fuel. But you can also get fuel back, so you get a lot. You can do a bonus action to spend more fuel to cause the totem to erupt into a roiling boil. All creatures that start their turn within 10 feet of it take fire damage equal to your fuel die. As a reaction, while you're within 100 feet of the totem, you can expend 2 additional fuel. This causes you to disappear into a whirl of blood and teleport to the totem. Okay. All right, we're going to stop reading this feature here. I'm just going to stop reading it here. If the only thing this did was this, I think it would be reasonable. Genuinely, if this was the only single thing this feature did, where you could spend a fuel to set a marker down somewhere within 60 feet of you, and then that marker would last a minute, and then at any time during that minute, you could use your reaction to teleport to that marker. You know what that is? An interesting idea. Do you know what this is? This is a salad that's made of 1,000 things that don't go together and is shockingly overpowered. I don't even need to, I'm not going to, it's genuinely not worth it to keep finishing it because we don't have to. Like, none of these matter. You've lost the plot. You've lost the plot. Pick whichever one of these you like the most and make it that. Don't make it all of them. This is an energy drink ad. It's just also doing too much. Big explosion. Teleport. What does this do? Restrain creatures? Restrains creatures. A bigger explosion. Yeah, man. Pick a lane. At 13th level, we get another really long feature. I'm almost certainly not going to... I think I'm probably going to stop reading it. Here, this is so much too much, man. This is a fucking tedious subclass to get through. Holy shit. I'm trying to find something to uplift, but I think that might just be Cinder coming through. At 13th level, you are well on your way to mastering the art of blood magic. I wish I understood what blood magic felt like and what it was reasonable to feel like mastering it felt cool. As an action on your turn, you expend any number of fuel die to summon up to 2 light melee weapons or 1 finesse melee weapon. The light ones aren't finesse? Or I guess they already are. Maybe. I don't know. That you are proficient with. Alternatively, you can cover 1 melee weapon you are currently wielding with a layer of blood. This effect lasts for 1 hour. Weapons summoned this way have bonuses based on the amount of fuel. Yeah, we're just... yeah, no. No. No, we don't need this. This is such a complicated... You know what you know what this whole feature could be, man? You can expend 2 blood die to get +1 to your weapon attack rolls for a minute. A minute would be reasonable, an hour is not. It could literally just be that. And then you get a bunch of other shit that I'm not going to read. Because you're putting too much in here. And you gotta learn. Look how fucking bloated this thing is. Also... Oh, man, the fuel dice really frustrate me because this feels... Every single feature we're getting feels like it legitimately should not use fuel dice. Like, this whole mechanic of scaling dice makes 0 fucking sense. Except for this feature and this feature. Genuinely, none of it makes sense other than that. Yeah, it's just numbers go up. Now we can stun a creature. We can do a million things. You can do too many things. Yeah, this is so fucked. At 17th level, you have... it doesn't matter. We don't need to read the rest of the 13th level feature. The feedback is the same for the 9th level feature. It's way too much shit and overly worded. At 17th level, you have reached mastery over Sanguine. It doesn't feel like it. As an action, yeah, that's the other thing, is none of these features feel like they have anything to do with blood. That's a bigger deal than anything else. At least the Soul Knife's features feel like they have to do with psionics. Where's the blood in literally any of these features? The only place blood comes up is that you bleed your opponent, which doesn't fucking mean anything. No, blood is not... This is not a blood subclass. It just says blood in the name. Literally nothing in here has to do with blood. I mean, it maybe it's supposed to, but the way it's represented, it is not. At 17th level, you've reached the mastery over the Sanguine. As an action, you harness all your remaining fuel. Make a melee weapon attack using a weapon with which you are proficient. That's such a waste of a sentence. Who cares, man? Let me ask you a better question than this. What fucking 17th level rogue is making a melee weapon attack with a weapon they're not proficient in? When is that happening? Why do you have this sentence? Anyway, roll and expend all the currently available fuel dice. You deal additional damage equal to the roll. Once you complete this attack, you are considered incapacitated at the end of your next turn. You know what I love? Features that are obviously overpowered, where the writer knows they're overpowered, so they try to fix it by giving you something that way over makes you weak later. There's nothing better for balance than swinging violently too hard to one side than swinging violently too hard to the other side. That's balance for you. You also gain a point of exhaustion. Once you use this feature, can't use it again until you finish a long rest. Okay. First of all, Undone Wolf, go fuck yourself. You just wasted money. Second of all, this needs a lot, man. This isn't anything. There's so much that's not here amongst so much that is here. This is a mountain of words. And so little of them have to do with blood. And so many of them just give us random features that don't feel like they fucking tie to anything. and are like way over explained and overproduced and overbuilt. You have built a giant jungle gym made of crazy things, and a good third of it is just copy pasted from other things, and the point of that jungle gym is unclear. Man, this needs a lot of focus, and it needs a lot of cutting down. I think the biggest problem that you have is right off the bat is, I don't know where you got it in your head that this thing should use fuel dice. Like, none of these features need to tie to dice at all. All of this could just be charge mechanic stuff. Every single thing. All right, Jam. Thank you for sharing. This thing needs a lot of focus, man. I have no idea what it's supposed to be other than an overpowered, edgy rogue. And I feel like that's not enough to represent a subclass. Kibby. You're on the wheel. Oh, you're already on the wheel. Oops. Listen, if Cinder's gonna be if Cinder's trying to be like a... First of all, Cinder sucks at being Mr. Rogers. He can't do it. He knows he can't do it. But if he's gonna try to do that, somebody's gotta be honest with you guys. Somebody's gotta have some fucking passion here. If you expend all your blood dice, can't you not use the last feature again? That is also true, Thomas. Even amongst the jungle gym, there are some pieces missing. We're spinning again. Ha-han! It looks like a typo. Help making a patron subclass that is not Warlock Cleric dependent. But you gotta help yourself, man. I'm not here to help you. I'm here to purify you through fire. What the fuck? Nope. I don't want to print that. Why is this trying to send me to a printer thing? Your file is the printing file for this. I'm not going to do that. You need to send the right file. But Cinder always gives people a second chance, right? Isn't that how it works? Well, I'm not Cinder. So everybody, let's laugh at this person for doing it wrong. You request a quest? All right, I can give you a quest. Let me change the music. Here's your quest, you fucking dummy. You're gonna go outside. You're gonna dig a hole in the earth that is gonna be roughly the size of a coffee cup. You're gonna take your second favorite D20. You are going to put it in that hole. You are gonna take a picture of that. You are then going to cover the hole over with dirt. And then you are going to find an object of import, like a rock. And you are going to place that object on top of that piece of dirt. And then you are going to take a picture of that. And then you are going to return to that spot in 1 year. And then you're going to take a picture of that. If you do all of this, I promise you, through that year of development, your die will grow more powerful than it was ever before. But be warned, if another traveler notices your marking stone and uncovers your dice, not only will you lose your die, any die you use after that will be cursed and will generally roll a little lower than they should. So that hole that you dig needs to be a place that is not going to be traveled by another person and that you're definitely going to be able to find. That's your quest. Anyway, Hahan, I took your name and I turned it into what the sound we made because you didn't fill out the form properly. And I don't have any other things to say about that. Other than I just lost the music I was listening to. Oh, here it is. That is a super compelling Warlock backstory. And I believe that they asked for a Warlock backstory. No, they didn't. Just a patron. All right, well, whatever. Sorry, buddy. Fill out your form right next time. Suck a dick. Do it right next time. Ooh. You want to come back? I am getting bored. We might end soon. These guys are tedious. Mr. Coopermar! I enjoyed watching the Reflavor Monster video, so I thought I'd give it a go. That was a mistake. I didn't get a chance to read all the rules for that submission, so let's see if Smolder can guess what this monster is based on. Is this a reflavored monster? Sure, we'll see if I can guess. Blade of Fate. Large Fey, bunch of hit points, bunch of armor, bunch of saving throws, CR 16. It's magic resistance, magical weapons. It's a Marilith. I don't even need to read any. It's Marilith. It's a Marilith. Come on, man. I didn't even need to look at its abilities. I just knew. Marilith. Boom. Same exact monster. Yeah, it's almost like I'm much smarter than all of you. Thank you for sharing. Do you want my opinion on reflavoring the Marilith as a giant Fey blade? Works well. A super Fey warrior that gets 1 billion attacks, teleports around. Works well. Was it tricky? No. So you end up with 50% points. That's still a failure. God, I love those sounds so much. That makes you cough? Good. That's my goal. I want to make you feel bad. If you feel bad, I'm doing good. You know what's crazy? When I clicked the wheel, I felt Cinder try to come out for a second, but I was ready for it. Little cousin's getting stronger. Not that much stronger. This is from Kibork. What's your name? Kibork Kobor. Perfect name. Rarity level and opinion on it? You idiot! You fucking dingus! Hey, raise your hand if your name is Kibor Kabor and you don't read the fucking prompt and you don't make your file accessible. Everybody laugh at Kibor Kabor for not making the file accessible. I don't have a laugh pulled up anymore. I have screaming. Everybody scream at them for not filling out the form properly. That's a good one. Again. Louder. Anyway, Kaborborg, whatever your name is, you have to make the document accessible. The way that you do that is you make it in the sharing options viewable by everyone. And then in addition to that, yes? Oh, I was dancing. In addition to that, the way to test it is you open it in an incognito window. So here's what we're gonna do. Where are you on the wheel? Kibork, I'm taking you off the wheel, but if you arrive in the chat and you say, I fixed it, I'll put you back on the wheel. Okay? So fix it. Let me know if you fix it. I'll put you back on the wheel. They said it. They said they fixed it. All right, Kibork, you're back on the wheel. Oh, you thought it guaranteed you'd get looked at? No, that's not how it works. You messed up, you pay for the mistake. Otherwise, you're not going to remember it. Humans are dumb. They need punishment to learn. Bombay. Hi, Smolder. I'm just trying to make a simple speedster subclass. Oh, God. I don't want to read it. Do you want to know what one of the stupidest subclass ideas in D&D is? A speedster subclass. D&D, the game that's designed so well for speed to be used all the time and for battle maps that are super big. It's not ruthless. Cinder does that too. I just stole that idea from Cinder. Ruthless would be for me to make fun of them for 10 minutes, but not do anything else, and then never put them back on the wheel. That would be ruthless. Because, to be fair, if you don't pay attention to the things that I say one time, I don't really respect or care about you. Cinder might believe in second chances. I'm just sort of doing the show. Okay, fighter, ruthless typhoon. You are an inevitable force of nature that will seek and ruthlessly take down any foe in your path. Hey! Barbarian! Why is your flavor text just describing a barbarian? What? Figure your shit out. You gain kick, which counts as a light, simple weapon attack. Is this a joke? Bombay, is this a joke? What are you doing here, man? Unarmed strikes fucking exist. Why are you doing this? Why are you creating a new thing for a word to explain a thing that already exists? What? Hey, you know what I love about taking one step forward, taking two steps back? Kick has two forms of attack, melee and ranged. What? What the fuck? What does that even mean? Melee form, light reach deals 1d8 bludgeoning damage. Okay, first of all, this is okay. This is nothing. This is nothing. This is stupid, and this is nothing. How about this? When you what do we? Why is it a simple... Okay, I'll be honest. The thing that pisses me off the most is the light, simple weapon attack. First of all, a light weapon shouldn't deal 1d10 damage. It should never range of 10 feet. Like, it's overpowered as it is, as just like a core thing, straight up. But beyond that, holy shit. I'm going to be honest with you, man. The lack of flavor here and the tone sucks. I genuinely don't want to read this, and I genuinely, immediately, my thought process is, seems kind of stupid. Whole thing seems kind of stupid. Straight up. What a stupid way to express giving your melee attacks 10 feet of reach. You think you're supposed to be kicking the air, but it doesn't say so? Yeah, that's too bad. It doesn't say so. That might make it make a little bit more sense. But right now, it's kind of just dumb. So, we have a pretty dumb feature and a pretty dumb way of expressing. We now get a special melee attack that has a reach of 10 feet and deals 1d8 bludgeoning damage. In fact, if you said it that way, it might not even be that dumb. And then you get a special ranged attack, does 30 feet, and deals 1d6 slashing damage. Okay. So, your first level feature is you are a better monk. And not, you're a better monk. All right, cool. Swifted Gale. Whenever kick hits a creature, I hate this name. What a horrible, horrible name. It's what a genuinely bad way to describe getting specialized unarmed strikes. It would be better if you called this feature kick, and then you said you gain a special unarmed strike that can take one of the two forms, and then you said whenever you used kick in that way, that could work. But this is just bad. Whenever kick hits a target, you gain 5 feet of walking speed until the end of your turn. This is just a monk. You're just making a monk. And you get Featherfall. This is just a monk! What are we doing? What is unique about this? Oh, look. Cringy anime art. Who would have guessed? You get Hurricane Kick. Every time that kick hits a target, it pushes the target 5 feet away, provided the target is more than one. Blah. I'm going fucking mad here. I don't know, man. The artist isn't mentioned either. Yeah, this is like just be an open hand monk. Okay, this subclass doesn't do anything. It's not a subclass. This is a magic item. This is a monk. It's not anything. All of it is nothing. Wow, you can knock people back. Wow, you get to kick more. Wow, you randomly do lightning damage now for no reason. Wow, you can do an extra dash, sort of like a monk. Yeah, this is nothing. This isn't a subclass, man. Oh, you did mention the artist? Oh, the artist is here. Yeah, I don't know. This doesn't have any flavor. It doesn't feel like it's anything. It feels stupid. It feels random. This isn't a fighter. This is nothing. This is nothing. It doesn't feel like anything. It's not sheesh. What do you mean sheesh? It's just be a monk. Monks are more balanced than this is. Here's the thing. The reason why I'm so fucking frustrated is because it isn't anything unique literally at all. I would be okay with it being like a monk if it felt like it sold a fiction that helped tell a story. You know, that helped you feel like something. That's not what this is. This is basically a series of combo moves. But it's not a subclass. It's not. That's what I mean when I say it's nothing. There is no story here. There is no flavor here. And these features feel like they exist just sort of randomly. And all they do is make you better at one thing. This is like, this is like, hey, do you want to be a fighter that's kind of just a shittier monk, but also a one-trick pony? Where every subclass feature is basically just one feature? Doesn't that sound fun? Doesn't that sound like a nuanced character that you would have a fun time exploring over the course of a year-long campaign? Oh, excuse me, it doesn't do lightning damage, it does lighting damage, so maybe it blinds them. Excuse me, I misread that. You could lean into lots of kick moves if you wanted to, but they need to sit somewhere. They need to be tied together in a way that is interesting, and you need to not just get weird kick moves. You need a little bit more. Even the fucking arcane archer gets stuff that isn't just shooting bow and arrow. It's not a lot, but they get a little. What does kick have to do with speed? Nothing. This has nothing to do with speed. I have no idea why it's just kicks. And I'm getting dumber the more that I talk about it. All right, Bombay. Hope that was somewhat helpful. Next time, I would strongly encourage you to build a subclass around an idea that is more than a move in a video game. Did Cinder come out for a second? He gets stronger as I get weaker. It is one of those frustrating things about needing to sit in the flesh vessel together. It's a lot easier to be in charge when we can be our true forms. He's a little bit more familiar with flesh vessels than I am. You got re-added to the wheel. Look, watch this. Now you're off the wheel. Now you're on the wheel. Now you're off the wheel. Now you're on the wheel. Use your eyes. Oh, I'm sorry. Your eyes suck because you're a human and you can't read little things. Havel the Rock. Not a bad name for a rock, honestly. Improvised weapon barbarian. I hate barbarians. They're so boring. Barbarians are one of the most uninspired subclasses in D&D. Like, okay, so for example, what Bombay showed us, where they were just doing kicks and kicks and kicks, that is literally barbarians. Genuinely the worst subclass, or the worst class in D&D. A whole class built around a single feature. So stupid. Genuinely bad. Beast Barbarian is uninspired and not that powerful. Barbarian Path of the Wretch. From the first tavern brawl to the prestige of the Colosseum, warriors who walk the path of the wretch learn to fight with anything that comes to hand, either because weapons cannot withstand their strength or they do not hold up for that long. Oh. You were so close to having good flavor text. Do you know what the difference is between jumping off a cliff and trying to land onto another cliff and missing the other cliff by an inch and missing the other cliff by 5 feet? Nothing. Both are utter failure and you're crushed. You start expressing the idea, but then the whole sentence just keeps going. And then, let me rephrase it. Let me tell you what you're saying here. Barbarians of this path use improvised weapons because either the weapons aren't strong enough or the weapons aren't strong enough. What are you doing, man? Did you fall out of the dingus tree and hit your head on every branch on the way down? Try to write flavor text that isn't just one sentence, and for the love of the diamond eye, please, don't say the same thing twice. It makes you come off as bad at this, and it will make people stop giving a shit. Do you want your work to have power? Then let it have fucking power. Let's look at what we get at 3rd level. You didn't even write a full sentence. 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 Let me ask you a question. I know that humans are very rude and pretty dumb and have really little sense of perspective outside of themselves. I understand that that is a limitation that you have. But you have logic, right? Like, surely, like, you do experiments. I just said the same thing 3 times. I'm talking. Graham, are you suggesting that the way we speak should be the same as the way we talk? And that somebody criticizing what is happening in writing should be criticized in the way they speak? That is maybe the dumbest thing I've heard all night. And I actually think Cinder would agree with me on that. Because the point of writing is very different than the point of talking. And when you communicate ideas with your voice, you're communicating on about 7 different spectrums. And I think you guys are only confident about 5 of them. When you're writing, you're communicating on 1 spectrum. I know you guys don't know much about dimensions. Like I said, you're very dumb, but you got to think about it that way. Now, what I was going to say, and I really think that this is going to be a hard thing for you guys to grasp. I genuinely think this is a hard thing for you guys to grasp, but I'm gonna be optimistic here. If you don't put the effort in to capitalize a sentence, did you put it? How do I know you put in any effort at all? Genuinely. What a... That's like going on a date. That's like getting a date, going and meeting somebody, and having the first thing you do, pick your nose and eat the booger. That is the equivalent of having the opening of your text a lowercase sentence, a incorrectly capitalized sentence, and a grammatically incorrect sentence at that. So you can, swap out a weapon attack for a wretched strike. What is wretched strike? No idea. Breaking the weapon. What? You crit on a 19 or 20, dealing an... Have you ever written a subclass feature before, man? Like, what are you doing? I'm going to make a guess here. I'm going to make a guess that you typed this up and you never thought about it again. That's my guess. Because this genuinely looks like you just wrote an idea. So what the fuck is a wretched strike? What does it mean breaking a weapon? What weapon is it breaking? What's the limitations on it breaking a weapon? Also, why is the most important part of the feature in parentheses? You fuck. Also, why is it critting, and then in addition to critting, essentially just doing what critting already does, and also doing what barbarians already do? Hey, do you know what critting does? Oh, it gives you extra damage die. So I was thinking I'd give you a feature that lets you get extra damage die, but then it also lets you get extra damage die. And I was thinking I would put it on a class that has a feature called Brutal Critical, where it also gets extra damage die. That way you can get extra damage die and extra damage die and extra damage die. So you're getting like a bunch of different features. No, you're not. You're getting one feature 4 times, and you don't need it because it's already part of the base feature of the fucking barbarian. It's also why you shouldn't increase the crit range on a barbarian, because they get brutal critical and they get reckless attack. So they're already hitting a shit ton and they're already devastating on crits. We don't need to put a hat on a hat, man. This isn't a feature. It just doesn't work. Oh, don't get me wrong, Kaborg. The idea of a barbarian that uses improvised weapons is amazing. I love that idea. My God, I want to play that barbarian right now. One of the best things in D&D is being able to be improvisational. And as much as I fucking hate barbarians, I'd play that barbarian. Yeah, you can't name a feature and not explain what it is. What the fuck is this? Maybe the feature is Wretched Strike, but yeah, this is fucking gobbledygook, dude. This is if I was gonna try to write, I'm going to translate this feature into normal D&D language, just so the reader can possibly maybe understand how to form a fucking proper sentence one day. But I'm also saying this with a caveat of this is not a good feature. This should not be the feature. Even though I'm about to say it in a way that it sounds like it's a good feature, it's not. Get rid of it. It does nothing. Here's what you say. When you make a weapon attack, you can choose to make that attack a wretched strike. This breaks the weapon, but allows you to crit on a 19 to 20. Period. Do you know what else is kind of funny about that? That I'm realizing here? Do you know what else is kind of funny about that? Do you know what this subclass doesn't have? There's actually something really important missing from this subclass. Can anybody tell me what it is? No, rage? Well, the rage thing, yeah, but... No, there's a bigger thing than the rage thing. So every barbarian subclass at 3rd level gets something that ties into its rage. Big deal. No. Okay, listen. First of all, I'm going to acknowledge something here, because as much as I want to yell at you when you're an idiot, I am going to acknowledge when you are intelligent. You guys are saying things that do matter. Mechanically. I'm not talking about mechanics. Remember, I acknowledge mechanics exist, but I care a lot more about feeling, because feeling at the end of the day matters way more. This is a whole subclass around using improvised weapons. You're not proficient in improvised weapons! So in order for this subclass to work, you have to take the Tavern Brawler feat. That doesn't work. Hey, in order to be this subclass, you have to take a feat. Dude, talk about missing the boat. You missed your own boat. You set the schedule. You planned the ship. You hired the crew. You were ready to go get the One Piece. And then you got on another ship and went in another direction. You got a whole army of improvised weapons sitting around being like, hey, you gonna ever be, proficient with us? And be able to, like, do more damage die? When that, could we do, Yeah, we're gonna keep going. Because the one thing that this class has going for it, here, I'm gonna make an acknowledgement here. When you do really shitty writing, and it's really long, I'm not going to read that whole thing ever. Cinder might, but I'm certainly not. When you do really shitty writing, but it's short, I can get through more of it, because I have to get through less shitty writing. He broke for a second? I told you guys. Listen. Cinder is in here. I'm holding him in. I'm in charge. But he can get out a little bit sometimes, which is why I can't do stream for that long, because I'm not here to hang out with him. I fucking hate him. That's what you're asking? Yeah, he might have broken through for a second. The times that I've noticed it, I tried to shut him down. Anyway, let's see what else this unusual journey takes us on. Finish the job at 6th level. You gain the following benefits with improvised weapons. You know what doesn't matter, man? You can't use them! You can use... Oh my god, it's like... They're magical. While raging, they can't break unless you use Wretched Strike. Can they break normally? Oh, and you just get more numbers, and numbers go up. Okay, fun fact. Do you know what shouldn't be in a subclass? A feature that's just numbers go up. You get that in magic items. You get that in spells. You get that in all sorts of bullshit. Also, you're making a barbarian. You're making a barbarian. How can you make a subclass and not pay any attention to the core class? You're giving us all these features that are completely redundant on a barbarian. We don't need to get advantage on weapon attacks. We have reckless attack. So, I'll tell you what. The only thing in this feature that makes sense is improvised weapons being magical if you figure out how to get your shit together at the earlier levels. But this is just numbers goes up in a very stupid and overpowered way that will break the game and will not be good and will not help sell the fiction of your character. And this is an unneeded feature because of Reckless Attack, which is a core feature of the Barbarian, and by putting a feature in like this, you are almost taking away from the core class. You're hurting it. That ended the music. It got so... Whatever it takes at 10th level. Your attunement to a magic weapon lets you replicate its combat effects with improvised weapons. You need more mechanics than this, dude. You need more mechanics than this, you fuck. Hey, man. Oh, gosh. If only there was a feature in D&D that allowed you to put the effects of a magic item onto a weapon. Gosh darn it. That's so hard to have to build from scratch. Man, if only there was like a warlock feature. Maybe a pact boon. Maybe a bladey one that could just show us the proper way to integrate those mechanics so it could be balanced so we could use it. Wait, do you not attune to a flame tongue? Is that true? Did the example you give mean you don't attune? You picked a weapon you don't attune to? I spelled tongue wrong. It does require attunement. What are you talking about? Dummy. All right. Okay, so this is also sort of a nothing burger feature. This feature is the same as the magical attack feature, where this feature is there just to make sure you can actually use magic items with this idea. It's not a feature. This is nothing. This is making up for stuff. This is like, this subclass, this is one thing that it kind of struggles with a little bit. Well, instead of giving them a cool new feature to supplement that, let's just patch that spot. That's not a feature. That's a patch. Let's say we get a 14th level. Oh, we can use Wretched Strike as a bonus action instead of swapping out an attack. So is it an attack or not? So we're just getting 3 attacks and our crit range is growing? And no, this is just, okay. You know what this is? You took a big old poop. This is a big old poop. And then you doubled it. 2, if you take poop and you multiply it by 2, it doesn't make the poop better. It just makes it more poop. So, if you want to build a subclass that's designed around being a barbarian that is fighting with improvised weapons, let me offer you a piece of advice, and if you don't take it, this will never be a good subclass. 1, they probably should come with improvised weapon proficiency. Maybe it's not exactly Tavern Brawler, maybe it's in a unique way. Maybe they don't use a D4 for improvised weapons. Maybe they use a D6. Maybe they use a D8. But give them some way to have improvised weapons in the subclass. Thing 2. Instead of making the numbers go up, make it, you can do interesting things. Like, what are you fucking doing here? Have you seen any Jackie Chan movies? How the hell are you making an improvised weapon barbarian and not taking inspiration from the best improvised weapon fighters in your terrestrial realm? Watch any fucking Jackie Chan movie. Look at how he fights with improvised weapons. 80% of what he does is not hit people. He uses them to move around. He uses them to block. He uses them as tools as he's fighting. Give them something fucking interesting to do. Yeah, make him sit in the chair. I don't know, there's all sorts of stuff you could do. It's not my job to tell you what to do, it's my job to set you on a path. Alright, that was Havel the Rock. With their improvised weapon barbarian that cannot use improvised weapons. 1 second.
Your Universal Orlando.
What the fuck is that? All right, you bitches. I'm tired of you. You're dumb. I don't like you. And we're wrapping up. If you guys want Cinder to do more of these shows where he's allowed to let me out, you need to make that known. Let him know what you thought in the Discord. Maybe throw him some money. Cinder's afraid to ask for money. I'm fucking not. Hey, you fucking selfish little bitches. Half of you just spent 3.5 hours being entertained by me. Give me some fucking money. Stop being selfish little bitches. Cinder would never say that, because that's kind of a dickish thing to say. But I'm not Cinder. Anyway. Actually, guys, wait. No, you don't have to do that. Don't give it. Fuck you! It's my show! Sorry about that. Alright, we're gonna finish up. You're staying on, sunglasses. You're staying on. I can feel Cinder trying to come out so hard right now. No. You're staying on. Okay, guys, you don't, please, don't feel any pressure to give money. That's such a shitty thing. I enjoy doing this. This is fun. This is a fun job. This is what I do for, it's fun. I like it. You don't have to give money. You don't have to. Okay, man, we're fucking ending this. We got to. I can't let Cinder. I can't let him back in. Okay, I'm turning the music off. We're getting ready to say goodbye. We're gonna raid somebody. And I am gonna play the ending credits, because we do have ending credits, and let's be honest, everybody knows ending credits are cool. So, with that, all of you can go fuck yourself, and I hope you have a bad night. I don't think any of you are gonna get particularly better at writing homebrew, but you should try, because even if you never get to the top of the mountain, if you're not trying to climb the mountain, you're literally not doing anything. If you want to join the raid, when we do raid, there's the link. I'm posting it on YouTube. And I guess I'll see you guys later. We'll see. If you guys like this show, tell Cinder to let me back. Does that sound good to everybody? All right. Fuck you. Good night.
If you care about me at all, you should focus on your problems, not putting the blame on me. So I won't pick up your call, I don't wanna talk about it. You know that we disagree. You always have to have the last word, don't you? Or you do things that you regret. Maybe you can find somebody new, somebody who knows just what to do. When you get all fired up and you hit where you know it will hurt the most. Somebody who see what you see, but it won't be me. If you care about me at all, you should respect my boundaries. Don't come knocking on my door, 'cause it's scary, you must know. After everything we've been through, this can't go on no more.